Hello and welcome to La Punt. We are at the start of the 2024 SPAR Swiss Epic, and this small picturesque Swiss town nestled in the heart of the Alps takes center stage in the sport of mountain biking, hosting one of the biggest mountain bike races on the calendar. We're here in the Graubünden region visiting Davos and Chur, the ultimate playground for mountain bikers around the world. The SPAR Swiss Epic has seen the very best in the sport battle it out for line honors, producing performances that have gone down in history. It's the 11th edition, and we have a world-class field featuring 8 national champions on the lineup. A new chapter of the SPAR Swiss Epic is about to unfold, and La Punt shares in this illustrious legacy, launching what promises to be another dramatic edition of the race. Along with the top professionals, we have 500 dedicated amateur riders, and 41 countries are represented here at the SPAR Swiss Epic, lining up to take on a 5-day, 341-kilometer route with 11,450 meters of climbing. We're surrounded by beautiful alpine scenery, and we have with us Dario Linda, and joining us in Romansh, our correspondent Roman Dobler.
Welcome to beautiful Graubünden. So it's so amazing to have you here in La Punt Engiadina. We've been working quite a bit to get you here and have you here. I'm sure you also had a lot of tough training.
The Swiss Epic for me is a must drive. I've been riding in many parts of the world, and I always think, I love this, I have it at home. So it's a mix of all you can find in all the other countries. That's why you should come here.
The SPAR Swiss Epic is all about the Swiss Alps, and it's about conquering the Alps on your mountain bike. And that is really what stands out. Those iconic peaks that you see, and about riders going all the way up and then all the way down again, and staying in beautiful, spectacular Swiss hospitality.
We are so excited to be back at SPAR Swiss Epic for another year.
The balance is that what makes it, to have both possibilities here in Switzerland. You can go up on a mountain and take first a flow trail, and then you switch on a natural one. That's what makes it so special.
The SPAR Swiss Epic is our pinnacle event in Europe. It's been going for 11 years now, and it is a truly unique event. I mean, being based in Switzerland, in the region of Graubünden, you know, the culture of the people here is just, mountain biking is just entrenched with them.
It's no coincidence that the very finest riders in mountain biking in the sport are from Switzerland. And you just have to look around you to see the mountains, to see the terrain, and just the variable conditions that make them so good. There's a culture of mountain biking in Switzerland, and it does produce the very finest mountain bikers. 10-time world champion Nino Schurter, Olympic medalists, and it's you just have to see the trails and see the enthusiasm from the youngsters to understand exactly why mountain biking is almost a national sport here. The tradition of creating a new route each year, showcasing superb mountain passes, iconic flow trails, and top-level bike parks. It all kicks off in La Punt's Bike Kingdom with the Southwestern Loop course, and then on towards the single trail paradise around Davos and Chur. We are tackling 341 kilometers with 11,450 meters of climbing and 5 thrilling days in Graubünden. Stage 1 is all about the flow trails of ST.MORITZ, the mystical lakes, and the world-famous Albula Trail. 75 kilometer lies ahead, with the day's major obstacle, the climb up to Corviglia. Single trail highlights the 8.6 kilometer Albula Trail, WM Flow Trail, and the Foppettas Flow Trail through the forest. This morning at the start, some nervous but trepidous faces, and we're ready to tackle that 75-kilometer loop and see some spectacular racing unfold. The race favorites, no doubt, coming from the Italian team, Via Vittoria, challenged by the Bulls Mavericks, lining up with both Megamo National Championship jerseys all around. And in the women's category, Efficient Infinity Racing, the defending champion Vera Lorza, riding with a new partner, Daniel Stradum. Hans Becking, the famous Hans Becking, he's had a good showing here at the SPAR Swiss Epic before, riding with his partner Wout Alleman. Great showing at the Cape Epic this year, the ABSA Cape Epic being a pinnacle of the Epic series. And a podium spot there, and they'll be looking to carry their momentum through with some question marks on the form of Wout Alleman after the European Championships. He wasn't 100% for the European champs, but he hoped to be making good today.
Our race director, Corviglia,
Shortly before the start, this was this morning at 8 o'clock, and ready to kick off on an exciting days of racing. The course is a tough one. Looking at the profile, it's quite, it's perhaps a little bit, you could say, deceiving. There are only 3 or 2 seemingly obstacles in the way, with the Via Engiadina, the tar pass that leads them onto the Albula Trail, the main obstacle up Marguns. But no doubt the action will start straight away. Fabian Rabensteiner and Samapora, the old favorite team, back together again. It's a squad of 4. They interchange very easily, and they are well versed in riding with each other. Fabian Rabensteiner, great showing at the European Championships on Sunday. Start list in front of us. We have the 3 favorite teams: Rabensteiner, Poro, Schneller, and Rudil Cortinat, and Becking and Alleman. And they'll be challenged by the likes of Boom Martin and Martinez and Roth and Rug. And we go down that list to an illustrious list of local riders that will soon to be putting their local knowledge to a good effect.
All media now, please, out of the start chute. We are now 60 seconds to go time. SPAR Swiss Epic 2024. Graubünden is our playground again.
And an illustrious list of over 40 riders of the top professionals in the sport and specialists in mountain bike stage racing. And they'll be ready to take on this 5-day race as a part of the Epic Series, a global collection of mountain biking races showcasing iconic regions and also showcasing the top talent around the world. 30 seconds before the start.
To our riders, 15 seconds here in the hands of the starter.
Wout Alleman in his national championship jersey, Hans Becking, the Dutch national champion, Alleman, of course, the Belgian champion, and the Italian champion Rabensteiner, all lining up on the front. And they're off, kicking off the 11th edition of the SPAR Swiss Epic, and a neutral zone, 2 kilometers of neutral zone, but they are tearing off, ready to tackle the first climb of the day, and that is the tar pass, the Via Engiadina, short, a bit of single track before that, and they will be measuring their efforts before the big climb of the day up to Marguns.
So many familiar faces. And this is your A bunch. Looking forward to go time. 8:02:30 will be the
Just to introduce you, my name is Neil Gardner, and with me is Dario Linda, and joining us a little later on will be Roman Dobler in Romansh. And it's a fantastic day. The sun has really come out. Dario, tell us what's your take on the weather?
The weather is good for the whole rest of the week. So early in the morning we had some clouds in the sky, but as usual, as in the Engadine, they disappear immediately if the sun comes out. And yeah, it's a perfect scenery. Yeah, it looks so amazing up here. The trails are ready, not too dry. So that was good. Yesterday it was, yeah, not raining. but yeah, just a little bit wet. And so everything is ready for a perfect epic week here in Graubünden, so it looks just amazing.
Looking forward to that, to how that all plays out, and the weather an important factor. And going down the start list for in the women's category, UCI women's category, the top women in the sport, back to defend her title is Vera Loza, and she's riding with a new partner this time. Kim Lecourt has moved on to the road. She's doing a road program. It was the winner last year with Vera Loza. This year, Loza is riding with Danielle Stradum. An exciting pairing there. Danielle Stradum, a national championship holder in the marathon discipline. So keen to prove her worth. And also lining up is Cannondale ISB Sport, Tessa Kortekas and Monica Calderon. A disappointing Absa Cape Epic. They had to retire. Tessa Kortekas did have a cold when she went into the race. Not a good state to go into the pinnacle of the Epic Series. And the Italian team, that is the team Mentacorpi Cicli Trigani. They are a dark horse to challenge the likes of Efficient Infinity Racing and Cannondale ISB Sport.
45 seconds. Media crews, we need you to please vacate the start line.
Monica Calderon on our right-hand side. Tessa Kortekas, the Dutch rider, taking up center stage, lining up at the start. Race favorites for this week for sure. Danielle Stradum in her national champs jersey, and the Namibian national champion Vera Loza defending her title after a dramatic win last year at the 2023 edition of the race, riding with Kim Lecourt, who in fact was the Mauritian national champion when they were riding together. Multicolored jerseys all around. They are obliged by the rules of the race to wear the same kit, except in the case where each or either one of them would be a national champion. And they're off. They're about to kick off for the 75-kilometer loop, a southwestern loop, as they head into the trails and back into Le Punt for a night well earned.
The Denmark outsiders, Luke Denmark. We got the team for the USA, John Donnelly and Tim Sauber, the Dirt Camp Racing. The Devon Country, Danny Stugat, Husqvarna. Otepa from Estonia, Stolpaks, women of year, Simona Stolnina Bren.
We're seeing pictures from earlier this morning. The start was just after 8 o'clock for the UCI women's, 8:05. The race kicked off for the top woman in the sport, a specialist in mountain bike stage racing. And earlier images showed some clouds, although these clouds are lifting. And you'll forgive us for obsessing a little bit about the weather, because 2 days ago we had absolutely driving rain, pouring rain, which can play a huge role in the proceedings, in the racing for the riders. Some riders cope really well in the rain and some riders just don't. And the local riders will know exactly what the weather is doing. So if the weather is good, it does level the playing field a little bit, Dario. Would you say that?
Yeah, definitely. So the trails, they change completely if it's wet or rainy. So a lot of routes, a lot of wet routes, so slippery when wet. But yeah, now it looks good. It gets drier and drier through the whole week, and especially up here, the sun is really strong, and it's going to be dry from yeah, for all the other riders started a bit later on today are coming back home a bit later.
And more scenes from the neutral zone. This was the 2-kilometer lead out of Le Punt as they headed onto the trails, heading into the thick of the racing. It'll all kick off with single track and the tar pass up Via Engiadina before they get to tackle the Albula Trail. And we're here nestled between the Alps here with a beautiful view looking out into the slopes that surround us. I think we're in for a great day's racing. What do you think, Dario?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we have to sit here. So yeah, probably it's perfect to go out and have a ride later on today. So that's the plan for us, not?
Well, hopefully we'll get a chance to get out there into the Alps. But enjoying the rider's eye view is our Bulls Media e-bike rider Thomas Ditch. This is an unprecedented And the unique thing about the sport of mountain bike stage racing is that we have the Bulls Media e-bikes following the top riders, hanging behind them and being able to capture the action really from a rider's point of view. And thanks to the riders Thomas Ditch and Stefan Sam, both well-known exponents of mountain bike stage racing. Stefan Sam having won the Absa Cape Epic 3 times, and he'll be following the men. But right now we're with Thomas Ditch and the women just as we lead out of town, out of La Punt, onto the trails that it'll be tackling today. The 75-kilometer network of trail, 2,150 meters of climbing today. And the reward of that will be the WM Flow Trail, the Foppettas Flow Trail, and the leading us home will be the Lej da Staz. I know that Dario is going to be correcting my pronunciation throughout the day. And the Engadin ski marathon section with beautiful alpine scenery surrounding them as they head back into La Punt. But right now, the action has yet to detonate as they head out of town. Notice that some of the riders have opted for hydration packs, and some riders are sticking with the traditional bottle, and various reasons behind that. But the riders with the hydration pack will have a slight advantage where they will be able to drink and eat without having to take their hands off the handlebars for too long. And when we say eat, there is nutrition powder within those hydration packs, and they'll be getting enough nutrients and enough carbohydrates into their systems for a long day ahead. Important to stay hydrated, even though the weather isn't necessarily, it's not too hot today, but with the given efforts, especially on the climb up to Corviglia, the 2,500 meter point in the race, they will need to be refueling as much as possible and as often as possible, and the hydration packs allow them to do that.
Yeah, definitely. So we have 3 water stations, and one of these water stations is exactly on the highest point, as you told before, on the Corviglia, on the highest point. So after this year-long uphill, then there's the last one on the way to the Engadin Ski Marathon side, so right before the second last uphills. So that's probably necessary for today, and not only water stations. So if something's broken, they can fix it. So some of the big packs with the wheels in there are waiting there, and yeah, as we seen last year. So this is really an important part of stage racing, to have everything ready in the front. So if you're having a flat tire or losing a battery like last year, or destroying a defender, whatever. So everything is ready there and everything is prepared. So 3 water stations through the whole day, and a lot of backpacks, as we can see now. The biggest backpack is the media guy, Bulls media guy wearing is Thomas Ditch, following the ladies now.
Thomas Ditch has to carry a lot of equipment. He's effectively broadcasting live from that Bulls Media e-bike, and there's the images we'll be seeing from a rider's point of view. And on the left, we'll see Stefan Sam following the men's category and carrying all of that equipment to beam us these images around the world, unique to the sport of mountain biking. We'll be talking a little bit about, throughout the week, about riders managing their efforts and looking after their bodies, and after just measuring their efforts and pacing themselves. But as Dario alluded to, there is just as an important aspect is looking after your equipment and taking care of it, not taking too many risks.
And another thing is we're up here in the Engadina, so we're up on 1,500 meters. We're going up to 2,150 meters. So yeah, you have to take care how your body affects it with the high altitude. So normally riders are coming up here in the Engadina to do high altitude training, and now they're up here doing high altitude racing. So at the moment we're just on the uphill to not yet, just this loop, this first loop around La Punt, the starting point. This is the recap of the early start in the morning. As you can see, right after 14 minutes, everything's together in the men's group on this So the riders, the teams have to be in between 2 minutes. That's an important thing. So if one is stronger on the uphill, the other one is faster on the downhill. So you have to control that you're in this 2 minutes all the time. Leading at the moment, that is the team Engadin La Punt. So the local team, it's Fadri Barandun and Simon Witstum. So probably Fadri, he comes from up here, from the Engiadina. He knows every route, every rock. And yeah, that's probably a bit of an advantage if you know these trails by heart, especially in wet conditions like this morning.
Well, Dario, you're a local in the area. You know how important that local home advantage is, and knowing every route and every rock is critical. And Fadri Barandun has proven this in the past with some great results at the SPAR Swiss Epic. He's riding with Simon Witstum, and no doubt the Engadin La Punt team, the local team, very much are absolutely in contention. We have some news out on the course about the Bulls riders. And they were going into the Bulls Mavericks were going into the race with as more or less one of the race favorites, certainly one of the three main favorites. But it seems to be that Axel has dropped out and leaving his partner Simon Schneller to continue. So that is one casualty of the race so far.
Yes, I told before this special team, Engadin La Punt with Fadri and Simon, is quite interesting because Fadri is a stage racer, a marathon racer, and Simon Witstum used to be a cross-country racer. Then he changed to track racing just a few years ago. He's a Swiss champion. And yeah, he's really doing good in that. He is doing the time trial on the road. And I haven't seen him racing on a mountain bike for about 1 or 2 years. And I was quite surprised when he was back on the starting list here at the Swiss Epic. And they're doing really good at the moment. Fadri Barandun and Simon Witstum.
Now the 12-kilometer mark, so we saw there 62 kilometers to go. At the 12-kilometer mark in the men's category, 12 teams all in contention, but notably absent are the Buff Megamo team, 30 seconds back, and of course the Bulls Mavericks, casualties of the race. So we'll be keeping an eye on how Buff Megamo are doing, but the team of Klimatiza and Cabati, that's the Klimatiza Totemi Cabati team, that's Boom Martin and Martinez, are riding a fantastic race, looking very much in charge. Stage one into, this is the Madulain section, really close. We've almost looped back, almost back to where we are right now at the start. And in the women's category, it seems like the racing is really kicking off with Monica Calderon, and Tessa Kortekas riding under the banner of Cannondale ISP Sport Women, all in contention. The top three teams: Mentor Corpo, Chicli, Dragani, Efficient Infinity, the defending champion Vera Lorza, riding with Danielle Stradum, and the Colombian and Dutch pairing of Calderon and Kortekas. Already the racing in the women's category is taking shape on the really smooth surfaces of Engadin as they head up to the climb, ready to tackle the Albula Trail. Now we're just having a look at the graphic. The Engadin La Punt team, Klimatiza Totemi Cabati and Mondraka Walter MTB, the team of
it's Usin Specher and Simon Walter, the two Swiss guys. So Usin Specher is in a pretty good shape. He just won we have like a regional race on the road. He is a Graubünden road champion just 2 weeks ago. He won this race, and just a few days before he won a marathon race just around the corner here. So he's in real good shape, Usin Specher. a really young rider, together with his teammate here at the Swiss Epic, normally rider for the Walter mountain bike team. It's Simon Walter, well known in Switzerland. These two guys.
It's very much a case of the locals putting it to the international riders, or you could say the international, they are international riders, but putting it to the race favorites. And the race favorites on our list, before we went in, before the gun went this morning, Fabian Rabensteiner and Samuel Porrer were very much on that list, the top three favorites, and already falling off that top three favorite list in the at the front end of the field. It's Buff Megamo and the Bulls. We mentioned there earlier the retiring of Simon Schneller's partner. That means that they are out of the race. Drama so early on.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it looks quite different as we thought, as I told you in the morning. So yeah, this Mondraker in front, Lapont, and some of the big guys are already missing. Buff Megamo as well, but you told me that Wout was not on 100%, and yeah, it's a long race. It's not only today, we have some more days coming, and probably.
There's certainly a long way to go, 5 days to go, and 4 days excluding this one. Of course, we will see how the race unfolds, but if there are already weaknesses now, it's a bad time to be showing them.
Yeah.
And really at that at the 38-kilometer mark, 38.5 kilometer mark, we're watching some live images of the graphic right now at that point. The Corviglia station at Engadin-le-Pont are in the lead, and they are riding just 10 seconds ahead of KTM Alchemist, Brenta Brakes, another dark horse team, the Italians ST.MORITZ, the brothers, and Klimatisa, Totami Kebeti are just right with them, 13 seconds off the lead pace of Barendon and Witsum. And just crossing that time check, Mondraker, Walter, MTB is Specher and Walter. The Swissies are absolutely showing the Spanish and the Italians, and of course the race favorites Buff Megamo. And just to keep a very close eye on where Rabensteiner and Porrer are. They were over 2 minutes back at the previous time check at 34 kilometers.
So it's a big advantage for the Swiss guys up, because they're always training up. So the national cross-country team at the moment is training up here for the World Championships in Andorra, because of this high altitude we're having up here. And yeah, if you're a member of the Swiss national team, this is the training base in Switzerland, high altitude. They're going up, sleeping a little bit higher on the passes, and so yeah, they know every trail. They know every trail up here, so that's a big advantage.
And exactly, and we touched on it earlier that Swiss mountain biking is really they are the best. Let's say it right now that the likes of Nino Schurter, 10-time world champion, and in Tokyo Olympics, 3 out of 3 medals went to the women's in the women's category went to Swiss riders, and a fantastic program that they have here in Switzerland for the mountain bikers, and the terrain has got certainly something to do with that.
Yeah, definitely. So you can go out and just find immediately nice trails. It's always easy to uphill, as we can see now. We even have flowing uphill trails, as we can see now. So this is just amazing. Even in this part of Switzerland, in the Engadin and the Fours, and we're going down to Chur, which is really down in the valley on a Friday. So yeah, trails all around, real nice trails, no problems with hikers or farmers or whatever, so it's always good. And if you're tired of the uphill sections, you can use a gondola or yeah, whatever you want, so always nice.
We're tracking here with the leading riders on the day. Stefan Sam, 3-time winner of the Absa Cape Epic. No better person than to operate the Bulls Media e-bike and bring us the pictures, these dramatic images from the rider's point of view. From the Bulls Media e-bike, he's carrying a broadcast unit that tells the world, or shows the world, exactly what is happening at the very front of the race. This is live right now, and we are with the front teams. Engadin-le-Pont out front, KTM Alchemist, Brenta Brakes.
This is not the first team. It looks like the fifth. No, it's not the Bikes Performance. It's Yeah, we can ask Stefan.
That is the best solution.
Yeah, Stefan Sam out there on the trail. Good morning.
Good morning.
Which team are you following at the moment? We can't figure it out.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Team. Team number 8.
It's team number 8. It's Miguel Munoz and Sebastian Gesche.
In the Via Flow Trail? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure if it will be easy to catch up to the front. And also, it doesn't matter. I'm enjoying the trails. Yeah, I'm not sure if it will be easy to catch up to the front. Catch at the bottom.
So how was the uphill onto Corviglia? So was there an attack or just,
No.
they're going faster and faster, the Engadin La Punt team?
Yeah, it was, they were pushing from the start. And it was just taking a really good and high rhythm. And the other teams kept backing, dropping out of the back of the group. So no real attacking, just keeping the pace high. And also
Okay,
it's quite...
it's probably...
Yeah. It's quite a cool
probably
race
a big
situation
advantage
because
for
we
them.
don't have to... Yeah, they know everything.
So we're on the downhill of this WM. It's called a Weltmeisterschaft, World Championship Trail from Corviglia down. It's like a man-made flow trail, and yeah, it's pretty good if you know every corner by heart here as well. And the leading team is Engadin La Punt, and here we are with Miguel Munoz, Sebastian Gesche, and for sure Stefan Sam following on his Bulls e-bike. These guys, hey, good morning, cows.
Locals.
Can you move actually on the way down, Stefan?
What do you mean? Like moo?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
That was
Yeah.
pretty. What do you mean? Like pretty actually.
You have to talk to the cows. That's really important up here.
You have to
The
be
cow
friendly.
whisperer on his way down, Stefan Sam.
There's no better person than Stefan Sam to comment on the racing. He's been in the thick of the action as a racer, and he knows exactly what it takes. And we're going to be relying on Stefan a lot throughout the week, because he will be able to not only see the riders and see their pedaling style, but he'll also be able to hear their breathing. So we'll be asking Stefan just for some race updates as to what his opinion is on which teams are doing really well and which teams are struggling. So looking forward to hearing more on that. But there's nothing more accurate and more telling than the results sheet. And we're looking at the 38-kilometer mark. That's at the top. The Corviglia, the summit at 2,500 meters. And already 14 teams have passed through that section. And looking down the list, certainly at the front, we've got a dominant performance by Fadri Barendun and Simon Witsum. And in close attendance is the ST.MORITZ from KTM Alchemist Brenta Bikes, the dark horses, followed closely by Klimatiza, Totemi Kabati. But looking down that list, ominously is Villa Vittoria factory team over 5 minutes back, and Buff Megamo 6 minutes 18 back. Big surprise that the three top teams are now pretty much out of contention on the stage, over 5 minutes back. We saw the retiring of Axel Rudil Kortinat, and Simon Sneller having to ride on his own throughout the stage, but still out on the trail, in contention for the week, but not necessarily for the stage. Buff Megamo's team of Hans Becking and Wout Alleman, and they'll be tracking Fabian Rabensteiner and Samuel Pora. Both teams having had fantastic record at the race, but not today. Today seems to be run by, the affairs are run by the local Swiss team, Barendun and Witsum.
Then if you talk about Fadri Barendun, He's talking Rate Romain, and in a short time we're having a Rate Romain conversation in this live stream. So a small part of Switzerland is talking that language. It's about 40,000 people at the moment. Yeah, about 40,000 people in this part of Switzerland are talking a very own language with a very long tradition. And Fadri Barandun is one of the riders talking this language for sure. He's from up here. And we can see now we're in the Flow Trail downhill, and yeah, it looks not that technical, but it is actually pretty technical. You can save a lot of energy if you know how to ride these berms. You can relax your body if you're very keen with stuff like that, and if you're not used to it, it's really hard. So you have to brake, you have to sprint, you have to brake, you have to sprint. And if you know these trails really good and know how to handle it, your body will thank.
And now we're with the leaders of the men, the current leaders, Samporizzi, the two Samporizzis, the Italians riding with in close contact with Barandun and Vitsum. The race looks like it's taking shape right now as they've breached the main obstacle of the day and heading down onto the flatter sections that will lead them back into La Punt. And the Italians and the Swissies dominating affairs out on the trails. 31 kilometers to go. We'll be seeing them in shortly, around about 11 o'clock. We expect the leaders to arrive. They'll be passing directly in front of us. We are sitting right at the start. Myself, Neil Gardner, and Daria Linda are going to be welcoming the riders home very soon, or within about an hour or so, Daria.
Exactly. Yeah, they're pretty fast today. So it's an opening stage. So the hardest one will be tomorrow over the Scaletta Pass from La Punt, from the Engiadina to Tavos. And yeah, I know the Scaletta Pass pretty well. It's a hard one. It's a long distance uphill, and wow.
This is a critical time for the Spanish riders, Climatiza, Totemi, Caberti, Bo Martin and Martinez. They can see up ahead. It's a big advantage for them. They have the rabbit up ahead, and they'll be putting in maximum effort to get back in touch with those two leading teams out on the trails, out on this smooth section of tar. They'll be tracking down. They'll be stalking Barandun and Vitsum and the Samporizzis from KTM Alchemist Brenta Brakes.
And they're going back into a downhill just in a short distance. So this is just an uphill or a flat section in between, and then they're going back into the downhill on the left-hand side.
Just the graphic there comparing the times between the Spanish team and comparing them to the pace, the fierce pace set by Barandun and Vitsum. They weren't too bad on the green section. Shows that the Spaniards were very much in touch on the first section, but losing about 10 seconds just on the final ascent up to Corviglia. And they'll be looking to make that good, to catch back up to them, up to the lead group, to be in contention to sprint for the stage today. "30 kilometers to go for the men, and it all looks to be a three-up race as long as the Spanish can catch up with that group in front, that group of two teams, the team of Engadin La Punt and KTM Alchemist Brenta Brakes. 2 hours and 12 minutes of racing have elapsed so far, and looking to have over an hour left to go. And if that team, if the Spanish can regain contact, we'll have a dramatic sprint finish into the village of La Punt. And just a really important stage for all three of these teams, because the winner of the stage will get to wear that Civita leader's yellow jersey. An honor for any team, even just during the race, to wear it once, and even greater honor to win it for the entire week. But a great prize for them, not just a stage win, but to wear those coveted yellow jerseys. Witnessing the spectacular scenery of the region, the Graubünden region. It's the home of trails, and around the La Punt area we'll be visiting the towns of Davos and Kur throughout the week. And we're seeing going to be seeing plenty more of this. We're on a smooth tar section passing the river, but we'll be watching some famous flow trails as we conclude the day. We're now with the women. This is the team of Monica Calderon and Tessa Kortekas, and we'll be getting news from Thomas Ditch as to how these teams are progressing on the challenging section of the race.
So Thomas, you're with the leading women's team at the moment. Am I right?
I'm with the team. Hello everybody. Yeah, it's true. I'm with team. Monica and Tessa. The second team is around 30 seconds behind. And yeah, we are in a long climb, steep, really hard one, even for e-bike.
Yeah, if you look at the live tracking, it's already more than a minute, the gap between these two teams. Yeah. So they're pushing really hard. Is it Monica who's pushing all the time in the front?
Yeah, it's Monica pushing. Tessa is just behind. I mean, she has I think she's, in good feeling. But yeah, it's Monica pushing in front.
Yeah. Yeah, at the recap, we already saw that Monica was pushing on the first uphill all the time. So, yeah, she must feel pretty good. Yeah, and Tessa says hello. I think Thomas is breathing really hard. So, did you run out of battery already or what?
Exactly. I lost the battery.
No.
I'm running without battery.
No.
No. I'm joking, for sure.
Ah, okay, good. That happened last year.
That
you ran out of...
You can't go without battery. Not possible. It's too steep.
Okay, yeah, for sure. It's pretty steep.
But I'm not on the turbo mode.
Okay, good. It's the uphill to Marguns, and this one is pretty steep, yes. Thank you very much, Thomas, with these insights.
Yeah, just great insight from Thomas Ditch. He is absolutely in touch with the riders. He can hear their breathing. He can see exactly, check the body language, and he can read it. And again, we're looking at the time checks. And Cannondale ISP Sport Women, the team that we're looking at right now in the picture, that's Tessa Kortekas in the foreground, and in the background, up ahead, Monica Calderon setting the pace. The Colombian well at home at higher altitude, and they have set the pace, the fierce pace, and at 1 minute and 15 seconds back is Team Efficient Infinity, and that is the team of Vera Laws, the defending champion, riding with the South African champion, Danielle Stradum. And we're still waiting to see just where Metacorpo, Cicli, Dragani is. There's the Italians Fazzolis and Barato. And at that first time check, well, the last time check at Bever, they were around about 2 minutes back. And we'll be waiting with bated breath to see if the Italians look like they could get back in touch on that descent after the Corviglia summit at 2,500 meters. They're well into the thick of the climb, around about halfway up the Margun climb, and within a short while we'll be able to see what that time check is at the very top. They've passed through the Celerina time check at 34.8 kilometers, and we're still waiting for the Italians to pass through. Only 2 teams have gone through that section, and Efficient Infinity are 1 minute 15 back. I'm just catching a graphic now of the live tracking. Live tracking is on up to the minute. Up to the second rather, so around about 1:20. So the team of Calderon and Kortekas, the fierce pace set by Monica Calderon, the Colombian, is putting more time into the team of Lozo and Stradum, with Fazzolis and Barato over 2 minutes and 50 seconds back, according to our live tracking. We will be looking back down the list at Hoffler and Dalman. Look like they're not going to be enjoying line honors today, but they'll be looking to consolidate, along with Baumann and Stedelman, 16 minutes back. Still all to play for on that climb. in touch. 2 minutes and 50 seconds for Fazolis and Barato. They're still very much in contention. They can get back on if they have a very good descent without any dramas. They still are in with a chance. But it looks like the day belongs to Calderon and Corticos. Just keeping an eye on that live tracking. We are relying on GPS tracks out in some of the most remote regions in the area. And Calderon and Corticos, we can confirm that Calderon and Corticos are still very much in the lead and extending that advantage that they had at the time check at the 34-kilometer mark at 1:15. They'll be looking to extend that. Now with the defending champion Vera Loza and Danielle Stradom. And Danielle Stradom, the South African marathon champion, and Vera Loza, the Namibian champion. We can hopefully hear from Thomas Ditch just at what the state of the riders is. Once he gets a chance to drop back a little bit, he can maybe comment on the form of Vera Loza and Danielle Stradom, just to give us some insights of what's happening down on the trail.
I can talk.
Mark and Vera Loza and Danielle Stradom still keeping a good rhythm, but having passed through that time check at Celerina, that's almost at 35 kilometers. Team of Mentecorpo, Chikli, Drigani women. It's Costanza Fazolis, Chiara Barato are just a shade under 3 minutes back on Team Team Cannondale ISB Sport women. So Team Efficient Infinity Insure will be looking up ahead to see if they can catch up with the likes of Calderon and Corticos. And they'll also maybe just take a little bit of a glance back at how the Italians are faring, Fazolis and Barato.
So Thomas, you're with Vera and Danielle. So they were talking to each other just a few seconds ago. Did you hear something, what they're talking about?
Yeah, they are talking about the landscape, and now they are, I think the feeling is good, but they are not going over the limit. The race is long, 5 days, and they are looking after each other.
The newbie, the SPAR Swiss Epic newbie, Danielle Stradom, is riding with Vera Loza, and she'll be definitely relying on the experience of the Namibian. Namibian wears the national championship jersey of Namibia, but she does spend a large amount of her time in Switzerland, so she's well at home on these trails. She knows these climbs, all of these rocks very well, living here with her husband, Connie Loza, another well-known exponent of the mountain bike stage race discipline, and looking to keep Danielle Stradom under her wing and keep with all of her experience, knows exactly how to pace herself, and also most importantly look after her partner. Danielle Stradom, definitely one of the rising stars on the scene. She's a national champion in the marathon discipline, and also, in fact, a national champion in gravel. So a rising star on the scene. We hope to see more of her, not just at the SPAR Swiss Epic, but in the sport in general. Just looking at the time over the team of Fazolis and Barato, Loza and Stradom are gaining time just after the beaver section on the major part of the climb. It looks like they have their climbing legs with them. Not quite the climbing legs of Monica Calderon and Tessa Corticos, but the team Efficient Infinity are putting on a good show for us today. and putting an advantage into the Italians. Just enjoying a slight bit of respite, which marks around about halfway up the climb. They'll just enjoy just a micro rest of their legs before they tackle the last section up to the summit at 2,500 meters Corviglia, and they will be certainly rewarded by the WM Flow Trail, the Foppettas Flow Trail, and leading them into the final 25 kilometers through Lej da Staz and the Engadin ski marathon section. And there will be the last tiny section of tar before they reach the finish in La Punt. Good rhythm set by Daniel Stradum, looks very much in control and being shepherded very ably by Vera Laws, an experienced campaigner, previous winner of the SPAR Swiss Epic, stage winner in 2022, and that really kicked off the momentum for her and Kim Lecourt as they took on the challenge of the SPAR Swiss Epic in 2023. They won the race and took that momentum forward to ultimately winning the pinnacle of the Epic series, the Absa Cape Epic in 2023.
Please tell someone, tell Tom.
Yeah, Miles, I can talk.
Just looking at that telling graphic there, this is tracking all the women's teams. Calderon and Kortekar very much in charge, and they have put even more time into the team of Lozo and Stradum. For Zolis and Barato losing further time. This is the major climb of the day, and it is creating absolute detonation in the race, major impact on the field, and very much in charge of affairs. As we said, Monica Calderon, we saw her riding at the front, setting a fierce pace. Kortekar being able to match it, and Calderon looking after her partner, making sure not to go too deep, but also at the same time making it count, putting that advantage to maximum effect. And in the men's category, we're just tracking now the illustrious pair of BIXS, the mountain biking pair, and that is Lucas Fluckinger, former winner of the SPAR Swiss Epic.
Yeah, now, as we said before, in this part of Switzerland, mountain bike is very popular, and this Reitroman language is very popular, so it's the main language up here. And we're having a chat now in Reitroman between Fadriga Zinn, one of the real pioneers in mountain biking in Switzerland. So he started building trails since decades. He was the first one introducing new tours around here. And Roman is our Reitroman reporter from our broadcast partner RTR. And we're having an interview now in Reitroman, and you can enjoy the race action still live.
Da mi avverte un cordiale benvenuto in livestream da questa prima tappa del Swiss Epic, da questa serie di plus squarses ci accompagna totemna. Un cordiale benvenuto come a Fadriga Zinn, Dario Linder e Ernila una volta annunziato un dei propri pioniers per tutto sport da mountain bike in questa regione. Fadriga Zinn noi essere in un po'. Cresce su a Santa Maria, abita da Speblersons a Cerf in Val Müstair. fatto dal Gersonadi un studio di economia a Basilea, loro sono cominciati a occupare con velos, loro tornano in Valmestair per lavoro e fondà dal 1998 la ditta Allegra Tourism per scegliere destinazioni in connex con mountain biking e per cominciare a fabbricare trails. Gli anni 90 in quel tempo, Fadri, proprio in tempo da pionier, la fine degli anni 90.
Grazie Fisch, Roman. Prima ci vuole un'invitazione per dire per plezzo su questi bellissimi portretti da queste sendas che conosco da ora, l'era si è fatta. Cominciai dal 99, quando mia donna aveva tutto l'hotel Stelvio Santa Maria, non sapeva che fare, ma dit fare un bike hotel. E quello hanno detto, ma vuoi tornarci là a fare qui con velos in montagna? E là cominciai, loro donna ha tenuto un'idea un po' strana, che si conferma fatto, ha fatto una bike gourmet tour. Mi si sembra così non con GPS e stylus, con mountain bike. E qua funziona. E dopo quasi ne coinvolti, l'Andorra ha dato per Allegra la possibilità di consigliare ad altre regioni che sviluppano il turismo del mountain bike.
E se sto a mettere avanti in quella iada non è scopo il paslung, dei loipes sono da donorums da vent, per schiuns dei pistes, per bikers non è però nulla tuttora le ordinarie vias, le sendes, le vias campestres.
Qua ci dera, tu vedi le sendas campestres, le vias forestales, vias che tu vedi, ma quella era il mountain bike che l'usa per irsi in quelle sendas. L'indirizzo del sport, il mountain bike stesso ha fatto un sviluppo enorme. Quelle erano le prime spene, quando era sempre di questi passlers che fanno, di questi Daniel Düsen trips. Finché c'è il mercato non è grande, c'è l'industria da TÜVs cominciai a fare le spene. E loro insegnano ingegneri, tecnologia, il stirpa si sviluppa. Questa è una parte del sviluppo.
L'indirizzo al velo sa sviluppare, allora si inclea passo per passo con le possibilità da dire. Perché se veniva un indirizzo, un velo un po' melder, sa improare, allora appunto era giusto con Allegra Tourism da improare da sporgere un trail, una via per fare quel sport sulla via campestre di Gineada.
Preciso, da fare un'infrastruttura che attira a quel tipo di clientela. Perché quelle altre non sapevamo online, questi clienti sono online, ma al mercato è cresciuto svelte che non sapevamo poter fare altro che zadater.
Jana Visa avanti non accompagniamo città portretti da quella bellezza trail, serio dalla Corviglia, dal tetto dell'etappa da 2500 metri, al VM Trail, al Foppettas Trail. Jana Visa, tesulz, hanno proprio cominciato a usare per vedere questi propri tragetti che vuoi fabbricare, che tu conosci fitch bene. Cosa vai a dire in lavoro?
Questo è un lavoro di persuasione. Declarare le auto al mercato, perché stesso di fare altre scelte, che si può fare in giuste zone protette. Questo è un lavoro di persuasione in prima linea. E qua cominciò qui in Engiadina, che era del 2008, in area nera, dove ci fusionava, dove era la Free, e là venne la prima volta di presentare un masterplan mountain bike, e io ho la fortuna che non potevo accompagnare quel dei giorni.
E se dovrà il consentimento dei proprietari, per il solito, quei comuni che toccano le vie campestre, e loro si cominciano a dire giuste sende o scea, si cominciano a dirvi della lavoro, con picchi pala, idee proprie scea, da fare da chiudere ce l'au arriva da vent, però da fare le storte, scuse radis, ci si arriva da fare quelle con un velo che non si spicca, e disegnare da Gulivora. E ci loro mezzo ingegner che ci va in questi dettagli, da storte, ascensioni, che ci va a val, da bugens per avere da vent lau e tutto quello che ci tocca pro.
Io sogni qua, in paese Montun, ma noi abbiamo il primo anno fino in America a chiamare esperti perché là fanno qua sono da spedizioni. Qui non vedo nessuno che sapeva cosa fare, le spendenze, le storze, le radios, e se tu vuoi fare altro paga mantenimento, fa piacere e le stesse sicurezza è un grande tema. E loro è naturalmente stato un tema che disozziamo, la convivenza tra pedunzi e bikers, questo è un tema enorme. Al Canton Grigion per fortuna ha fatto questo programma Fair Trail, e quello è qui in Engiadina, e qua funziona benissimo, meglio di quello che ci aspettava.
Appelesce quel semplicemente il Fair Trail all'incletta da mai scoviandanti e tai per esempio sco biker, ci si fa l'una, ci si arriva, ci dà quella convivenza su questo tragitto, c'è il Fair Trail.
Absolut, einfach essere fair, essere un concel, l'incontrare grande botte, de piazza per tutti. Naturalmente, da una langia ci viene sempre il montone auto, che viene dappertutto, dai un per ci fa un conflitto, o si disturba una cella. Ma da lungo ci deve giocare, l'incontrare è grande. E ci sono un paio di casi, saluti, si dice ciao, in montagna, e scontro di una gli auto. Dice un bel dì, ci avete auto, si fa una conversazione. Noi abbiamo alle stesse idee, noi abbiamo anche la natura, per avere piacere, per restare fit, per relaxare, per curare.
L'Engiadina sbotte un po' esemplare, che qua ci per tu che era la convivenza, o erco ci si appirti su qua. Non menzionava un quarto la Vartreta, vuol dire Corviglia, l'Engia al Swissepic, Zamointa e Roz, da quella Vart, è la patria più cönch des bikers, e la Vart sinistra, Corvac, per spedunz.
Precis, cosa vis l'Engiadina ha storicamente blerias da sta, bler da più quattro destinazioni da skis, perché qua ci si imbluda, il turismo in Engiadina non da sta, non è di Vienna. E questo è classico, also sai studiare c'è fine, allora sai che tu hai detto, fai la parte Corvac, la sai a spedunz, non sviluppa in Corviglia. Via della Varda Corvac non sai fatto nulla, non è fabbricata, tu puoi irsi in quelle sendas, ma quasi loro è pax, e c'è la parte delle slice, quasi un punto di conflitto neuralgico, e tu puoi, e per questo sviluppare la rotta del Bernina verso Poschiavo, e se tu sciuti già le date, ci non vai di monitoring, qua funziona non 90%. I biker sono qui, sul Bernina, e già sono spedunze.
La relazione è tra il turismo da Stadt che vive ben alimentare naturalmente da tutte le amiche che vanno qui a spasa nella regione col bike da quel d'inverno. Varà fatto, varà egualizzabile runde più che ci diamo sonst non anten che non vivono proprio dalla Stadt.
La dera è exotico, con snowboarders ci hanno cominciato a dire altre schiunze, guardate un per conflitto. E loro il grande stumpa l'ha data l'e-bike. Cosa sto vezzer? Se ti vezzer si la sente tutta un'altra clientela, quando non è bene quel ci defitisce. Quel va per piacere, quel va con l'aiuto della batteria, fa male le stesse. E con qua c'è la batteria, poi da fatta bere il vino in papicciare.
A Trails restano per questa di una slistesa, da là non hai loro muda nulla, count grande oder kaum bene la fabbricadora, questa ride da trails e da vias. Cosa quella si è sviluppata negli ultimi 30 anni? Puoi dire, ossa è proprio mince alp, ja dice nada, mince pizza accessibile con un bike, o si sono molös, ci sono un po' ein del Stür.
E da Montone, se desni fatto in Montone, desni fatto qui in Montone in Engiadina, se sto vezzer un trail ci ven dovrà, se mantiene scusa ves, leggera va ora, e se vezza as stizis, se avessi un trail vezzi da lungo qui stati autonuglia, questo è un po' inesperienza, questo qua aiuta. E curci se vezza ci danno un da più traffico, si fa da più, e qua ci si fa, il Canton fa, una seminari per questi ci mantengono, das comuns, quelle gli altri dessus trails, educesci a fare. E qua funziona.
Le scelte comuni sono queste, i proprietari delle sende e delle vie responsabili per il mantenimento.
Qua sono le sende di viandanza comuni sono responsabili per quella. Qua ci si ha fatto con il bike, se il pedunz era più ben comune. Il biker va da un comune a cella. Also il sforzo per il comune serve da vella risebbole. Quelle sono le stesse che ci sconfizzo.
Allegra Tourism è stato pioniere giusto per noi nella regione, con la vita e quist trend es ni non das Stadis Units, che non lassen resumare un paese e questo era nere sprüms ci sono occupati trails e da vies per mountain bikers e hai aiuta di nos un po' contato che questa tutto sviluppa in giù va qua e mo.
Oh,
is el pizz, si sono il pizz schon oder
ja no crace se sono il pizz ed esisce che continuava infatti questo qui nel 2008 al principio del SONS 2010 non poteste mettere avanti desisce berm ma questo per l'e-bike e quel 30 per cominciare questo sto savare questo è tutto savare del turismo ed è da gestire qua là se potessi dare problemi, perché al trend non viene fatto per nulla, va in belle conseguenze. Il trend e-bike nasce dalle grandi agglomerazioni e giù ci si fa un'alternativa per il traffico di auto, ci si sta fare. E da più gli auto, più milioni ci va col velo, perché l'auto è già snotus. Allora per pilnare in vacanze. E non ti dico che non sono io sul fuori qui, e non sa quante auto ce ne avesse senza su il velo davanti. Quando più è già metà.
Le rischiams ci pigliano con il velo per appunto rialdere questa stupenda natura, questa stupenda contrada, che noi qui erges corridors e le corridores del Swiss Epic anche per fare questo sport. Per Federico Cazzin, dai, oggi da mezz'ora una ronda sul bike, forza su una di queste trails che noi hanno servizio anche la corsa.
Io vi garantisco che il Bernino non sa in giù, non va in qui giusto un gruppo di finlandesi dalla Lapponia, che vengono qui a studiare che noi abbiamo fatto, perché questo vuole andare in tolto della torta.
Grazie Ficiun della visita, per l'invista anche il sviluppo da mountain bike qui nella regione negli ultimi 30 anni, però domenica naturalmente bler plagiare e bler soddisfazione da mostrar nos paradis era questo della Lapponia, che tu hai menzionato.
Super, grazie Ficiun.
So thank you very much. Grazie Fitch, as we say in Right Roman, to Roman and Federico Cazzin, one of the pioneers in this area of Switzerland. Yeah, one of the touristic and trail pioneers of mountain biking here in Switzerland over the last 30 years. Yeah, almost 30 years. Thank you very much. We're back in the middle of the race, only 20 Ks to go at the men's competition, and we are here back with the leaders of the women's race. It's Monica Calderon, always leading right in front of her teammate. It's Tessa Cortecas. The girls from Cannondale ISB Sport Women. So Cannondale brought two teams, a men's and a women's team, and they're in this flow trail downhill from top of today's stage. So that was a hard uphill up to Marguns, and then a little bit higher up to the Corviglia, one more, and then the Corviglia Trail. You're right in the middle of that one, and an intermediate road, and then back on the last part of this flow trail, and the men's are back in the flat. So let's have a look at Calderon, Cortebas compared to Loser and Striadum. So you see in the uphill, been over 2 minutes faster in this uphill from Bever to the Corviglia.
Just looking at those times that comparing themselves to Loza and Stratum, they gained most of the advantage on the early slopes and only a small advantage. So obviously it seems that Vera Loza and Daniel Stratum have found their rhythm, they found their legs, and are limiting the damage on that climb, or were limiting the damage on that climb, because they have already summited. And at that summit, we're looking at the time gap of around about 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 5 seconds. But we are still waiting for Mentacorpo, Chicli, Drigani to come through there. Fazolis and Barato, they were around 3 minutes back at the previous time check. And hopefully for that team, for the Italians, they'll be limiting the damage. And so try and stay as much in contention as possible for the overall and also for the stage. A podium spot at the end of the day is still nothing to sneeze at, and an important part of their campaign as they progress throughout the week. And in the men's category, we saw the regroup of the Samparisis, the 30-year-old Lorenzo riding with Nicholas Samparisi. And Nicholas Samparisi has been second in the National Championships of Italy and a well-known exponent of the marathon scene, second at the Mountain Bike World Cup in Nova Mesto in 2023. So really good pedigree from the Italians, and we expect to see great things from them. And just a last time check that we had for the three leading teams altogether: KTM Alchemist, Brenta Bakes, Engadin La Punt, the locals Barandunen, Vitsum, and Climatiza Totemi Cabati, the Spanish team, Roberto Bumartin and Luis Martinez, all three together, the Italians, the Swissies and the Spanish. And no doubt Dario next to me will be cheering on the local lads. Barandunen and Vitsum, local knowledge seems to be winning today and earning them that earning them some good respect among their peers right now as they lead the race at the 54-kilometer mark. Just under 20 Ks to go. We can see there 17.6 kilometers to go. We are live on the Bulls Media e-bike with Stefan Sam, looking down the time checks, and very ominous for Ravenstein and Pora, over 6 minutes back. We'll be catching up with them later just to see exactly what their issues have been. This performance today seems to be at odds with where they've performed previously in the race and also in their campaign, not just in the Epic Series events, but around the world, both in national championships and European championships, and in fact world championships. We did expect more from the Italians.
Yeah, we can have a chat with Stefan Sam right in the middle of this forest with leading groups. How does it look with these three teams? So they're working together, or yeah, how does it look, Stefan?
At the moment, they're kind of still together. No one really wants to do an attack. It's because it's not that much climbing until the finish line. And it's difficult to pull a gap. It's actually the first time I see Fadri Barandun in the back of the group. He was working the whole day from front. So maybe he wants to try save some legs for the final sprint.
Group, yeah, thank you. So it's Simon Witztum now who's leading this pack at the moment. So he's a real puncher. So probably his part will come later on, Stefan, not until the end if there's a sprint finish or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a track specialist, then you should be able to sprint properly, but your partner has to follow. But there's some tactics for sprinting in a team race, and I hope they spoke about that before the time. But it's going to be super interesting how this will turn out towards the finish.
Yeah. Now there's a big tactical game. So in between these riders, is it possible that Fadri Barandun is dropping back just to control everything from the back, to have an eye on the other riders?
I think he feels really strong today. You can see uphill, and he's checking out the others here. Their position, just to get an idea on which they start, and we launch an attack then.
Yeah, we'll see that we have a new graphic. So in the downhill, Flückiger and Schmidt been really, really fast. And as I told you before, these guys know these downhills by heart here. So we're in this beautiful part of the Engadin now, close to the Lej da Staz, the lake of Staz, it's called. So a few lakes around here. Then they have to climb over this hill using this short downhill here, and then yeah, it's mostly like a flat part back home, back to La Punt.
And the profile looks a little deceiving because all we can see is the flatter section, and that is, of course, compared to the relative giant of the descent up to Corviglia. But the trails, the last 20 kilometers are not easy at all. You can see it takes maximum concentration. And the Italians, the ST.MORITZ, will be looking very closely at their rivals, the Swiss rivals, who know the area like the backs of their hands, Berm and Witzum. And watching on closely should be, tactically, Bo Martin and Martinez should be spending most of their time watching what the locals are doing as well. But very much in touch, those three teams, the teams of KTM Alchemist, Brenta Brakes, Engadin La Punt, and Klimatiza Totima Caboti. What a moment would be if the team name Engadin La Punt could win today's stage and pull on those coveted leaders' jerseys. But also not too far behind, 1 minute and 13 seconds back. Mondraker Volta MTB are riding with Gian Schmidt and Lucas Vucky, a former winner of the race, and riding for BIX Performance 2. That's the second team, and they're followed closely by their first team, Roth and Rug. But that is, in fact, not so closely at 4 minutes 21 down. But the chasing team of Mondraker Volta and BIX Performance are 1 minute 14 down. So the front three teams cannot play any games, no cat and mouse, otherwise. And Volta, they will have no mercy whatsoever. And you do not, even though he is so-called retired, I mean, he's riding at the front end of the field. Lucas Vlockiger, we've seen him as far back, in fact, a decade ago at the Absa Cape Epic, winning stages, and fantastic performance from him, both on mountain bike stage racing, marathon, and on the World Cup circuit as well. Lucas Vlockiger, a world-class, world-beating rider. Don't want to give any Vlockiger any space whatsoever. Work cut out for them are the ST.MORITZ, Baron Dun and Witzum, and Bo Martin and Martinez.
Yeah, he's actually the brother of Matthias Vlockiger, the cross-country racer, and Lukas Vlockiger won the race just a few years ago in the Vallis together with Reto Indergant. That's, yeah, a bit far back. And actually, he's the team manager of this bike's performance team. And the second team, so they brought two teams. It's Jan Schmidt, Lukas Vlockiger, and the other team is Joel Roth and Timon Ruek, and these are his riders. So he, as a team manager, is right in front of his first team of Ruek. Yeah, let's see how it turns out. So,
well, we're looking forward to seeing how that works out throughout the week, especially well-known experienced campaigners. And we're back with Monica Calderon and Tessa Kortekas. Fantastic performance from the Colombian and the Dutchwoman. We heard from Tessa Kortekas at the early part of the briefing yesterday. Tessa Kortekas was a little bit, we could say cautiously optimistic. She knows that she gets better throughout the week, and she expected to spend today and tomorrow getting used to the altitude and acclimatizing and getting used to the pace, letting Monica Calderon, the Colombian, set the pace. But it seems like Tessa Kortekas has absolutely arrived at the race completely on form and ready to tackle. So if she's going to if she's getting better from this point on, we can expect great things from this superb pairing. Cannondale ISB Sport Women, the favorites of before we went into the stage, and certainly showing their worth.
yeah, you've been right yesterday. You told me these are my favorites, or these are the favorites, and you're definitely right. Into the first stage already, a 2-minute lead out to Efficient Infinity, and they're in this yeah, it's not flat, it's an easy uphill part, and they're going to the left-hand side and then into the last part of this flow trail.
Now let's remember that this is a well-established pairing, Calderon and Tessa Kortekas. Calderon is she had a disappointing Absa Cape Epic with Tessa Kortekas pulling out with a cold. Tessa Kortekas arrived at the Absa Cape Epic with a cold, not the kind of race you want to arrive at, not 100%. But just also a great performance from this pairing, the well-established pairing at the Andorra Epic, having taken line honours. So carrying that form, clearly carrying that form into the Swiss Epic in August.
and you have to be absolutely ready coming into a race like this, like a 5-day marathon race. We had some competitors doing the European Championships last weekend, and this has been one of the favorites, like we said, the Buff Megamo team and Fabian Rabenstein, but we haven't heard anything from them at the moment, so they're not in the front group, so they drop back a little bit. Yeah, it's a hard one. Swiss epic, high altitude, high mountains, single trails, and yeah, that makes it harder and hard, but it's an epic scenery up here, as you can see through these beautiful pictures brought by live motion.
We're here with the race leaders in the women's category. Just up ahead are some of the men's racers who will be, the pairing will be passing very soon as they cross over this beautiful bridge and onto the trails, off the smooth stuff and onto the slightly rocky trails. These trails are more natural trails, more hiking trails, less of those hand-cut berms, but certainly no less thrilling as they make their way to the time check that will be keeping an eye on them at the around about the 45-kilometer mark. Just taking it conservatively through those trails, looking after their equipment. They know very well that they're experienced mountain bike stage racers. They'll know to put the advantage, drive their advantage home on the climbs, and then they can take the descents a lot more conservatively, because they know that any rider that loses touch with the front teams on the climbs will push just a little bit harder, and that means just a little bit of extra risk. And at that point, if anything does go wrong, with a few extra risks taken on the downhill, the time loss can be almost infinite with a slashed tire or a broken piece of equipment. So great tactics, playing it exactly as they should. Monica Calderon and Tessa Kortekos.
It takes about a bit more than a minute if you have a flat tire, and then you're really fast repairing things like that. And yeah, they carry their own stuff with them, so a tube, an inner tube, and some plugs and everything. Yeah,
exactly that. And the another major part of being a good mountain bike stage racer is being able to make your own repairs, is being able to assess the damage and address the damage in the calmest way possible, and not to panic, and especially not just to repair the damage, but also to pace yourself in getting back to the front. There is absolutely no point. In fact, it can be extremely destructive for the riders to put maximum pace down to try and catch up the gap. Because after all, and in the wise words of Carl Platt and Stefan Son, you only have to catch the lead at the very end. You don't have to catch them with 50 k's to go.
Yeah.
So important thing. But another pairing will be passing very soon as they cross over this beautiful bridge issues that that might come up. It is an inevitable thing, but it's important, especially to look after your tires, because although it might take 1 minute to fix an easy puncture, a small hole, if the tire is slashed will be passing very soon as they cross over this beautiful bridge almost and onto the trails, off the smooth stuff. Loss. Pairing will be passing very soon as they cross over this beautiful bridge and on. Pairing will be passing very soon as they cross. Pairing.
That's good.
I don't know, I haven't seen them.
Yeah, I'm okay. I don't have to race.
I'll try to look back at.
So this is the drama we've been talking about earlier on. Just a few seconds ago, we had this crash in the front group from Climatisa, Toteme Caberti, Roberto Beaumartin and Luis Martinez. So at the moment, only two teams are leading at the moment. It's the team Engadin Lapult and the team KTM Alchemist. So correction, it's not the Klimatissa, it's the team KTM, which had a crash earlier on, just a few seconds ago. So we talked to Stefan Sam. Stefan, do you have any insights about this crash which just happened?
No. KTM is in front with, just look at the camera. Upcoming traffic on a high-speed section. And like just the worst moment, coming around the corner and they got cut the corner and then hooked up on the other person. And we have KTM and La Punt in the front, so it was the Spanish team that crashed.
Okay, so I've been right. Klimatissa,
yes.
Roberto Bumartin and Luis Martinez crashed.
Now we have a horse. Now we have a horse. We have traffic. It's like the Wild West. Merci vielmals. Er komen er nog veel. There's many coming. Yeah, Ken. Oh no. It was just before the... I don't know. I don't have info. It
so we see the
coming
first
down
attacks.
from Pontresina. Yeah, we see the first attacks now in the downhill.
This attack is from the team Engadin, La Punt, Fradri, Barandun and Simon Witztum. Fradri, Barandun was always at the end for the last few minutes. Now his local knowledge is coming back, so he knows the trails, he knows every meter up here. So for sure, he knew that this downhill was coming. He went immediately to the front together with his teammate Simon Witztum, and it's only 10 Ks to go after already 3 hours of racing.
3 hours of racing and 65 kilometers with 10 Ks to go. The race has definitely hit fever pitch with the unfortunate incident earlier with the Spanish riders. It's now up to 2 teams, Engadin, La Punt and KTM Alchemist Brenta Bikes, the local Swiss riders who seem to have been in charge all day. And the local team Barandun and Witztum driving the pace whenever they can, and hanging on is Samparisi and Samparisi, the 2 Samparizis and KTM Alchemist Brenta Bikes. They have their work cut out for them. All they need to do is track Barandun and Witztum. Witztum, a well-known track rider in the region, in the area, and he'll be using that speed to great effect. Riders on the track do have an extremely honed tactical sense, so they'll be looking a little bit up ahead at where the sprint finish comes into the village of La Punt, and looking to position themselves perfectly. Barandun and Witztum, they know the area, they know the finish. They have an advantage, but can they make the most of it with the Italian Samparisis breathing down their necks and tracking their every move? We saw a little bit earlier the attack on just one of those short rises on this seemingly flat section. A short rise, even if it is 20, 30, 40 meters, can play a big role in just breaking up the field, especially at this fever pitch pace. The race is well and truly into its finale as the riders approach La Punt on the loop stage, the southwesterly loop stage around the La Punt region in Graubünden, the spectacular Graubünden, the home of trails. And all that the riders will be looking at the moment, they'll be just looking at the trail in front of them. We can catch a bit of a graphic just to see where on the trail the Spanish riders, they are back on the pace. At the time check, the Swiss team of Specher and Walter, we're almost in touch with them. And a fantastic performance by Schmidt and Flückiger. 44 seconds back at the 63 kilometer mark. We are well beyond that now, and 9 Ks to go. We'll be looking closely to see how Flückiger and Schmidt and Martinez fight it out for the last step on the podium for today. Looking good for the first step of the podium are these 2 teams in front of us. The team of Engadin La Punt looking dominant all day. KTM Alchemist Brenta Bikes, the Italians, and they'll be fighting it out. Looking forward to a sprint finish between these 2 teams.
Yes, they're together now, back together, these two teams, Engadin Lapun and KTM Alchemist, Renter Bikes. So that took a hard effort from the two Italians from the ST.MORITZ to catch up with the current leaders. Still in the lead, the one with the four-spoke wheel, it's Simon Witztum. So a little bit of breakdown at the moment, catching the breath. And then
hopefully this is not where the cat and mouse happens, because 20 seconds back, we could say 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds back, but certainly they cannot afford to play any games whatsoever. So the Italians are playing it tactically very well, leaving it up to the Swissies to keep the pace, but the Italians may be asked quite soon to play their role, to make a contribution, because even in mountain biking, the draft effect of riding behind is significant, especially at the paces they're approaching the race village in La Punt.
Yeah, and the break between place 2 and 3 is only about 20 seconds. So yeah, they really have to take care that these guys are not coming back. So if it's a big group, the sprint gets harder and harder. And they have no information at the front how big the gap is to the third team, and even the third team doesn't know how big the gap is to the second team. So it's a bit of gambling now.
It's certainly a bit of gambling. They'll need to play it tactically right. But number one priority is to keep the pace high and keep to limit the number of riders at the front. That is the thing about a sprint finish, especially in a two-person team race, is that sprint finishes get complicated, and the more teams that are in the mix for that win, the more complicated it gets, almost exponentially complicated. And there is an art to a sprint just in normal circumstances, but when it comes to two-person teams, it is the last rider to cross the line where the time is taken. So it's important that Barendon and Witzum are highly aware of that. No doubt they are. It's been a while since they fought it out at the very front of the race. We've seen them riding very well in previous years, and this is their chance. This is their chance to pull on those leaders' jerseys.
So Stefan, you're still with the leaders. You know things like that really good. You've been racing before. What are the team tactics now? We see now this is Simon Witztum again with the attack. Is it tactical now, or what is the best solution in a situation like that? Stefan Sam out there on the Bulls e-bike. Can you hear me? So probably it's too windy, so they're too fast, you can't hear anything, but we just...
together to the last bit of the finish, because you need to push.
So really hard to understand now, so they're riding so fast at the moment. It's always Simon Witztum in the lead together with a teammate Fadri Barendum now. This is place number 1 is going to Engadin La Punt, then the first rider of the KTM guys, then the second guy of the Engadin. They're controlling each other, so nothing can happen now. It's, yeah.
Now all this plays into the hands of Climatiza, Totima Cavity, and Mondreka Volta MTB, and BIXS Performance, the Flückiger and Schmidt pairing. With any of these games, just takes the edge off the pace and allows them to catch up. But we're looking at the graphic on the right-hand side, still a little bit of buffer that they have, that the Italians and the Swiss have to work with. And we saw some of the tactics at play. One of the tactics that we've seen work in the past is for one of the team members to go up ahead, go up the road, and that leaves it just up to the less complicated situation for the second team rider to sprint it out against the other team's second place rider. Sounds complicated, but it's really all about the second rider to cross the line. A rider up ahead makes it less complicated for a team, and we saw the very clever tactics of Engadin La Punt, sending a rider up the road and then leaving it up to the Italian to either chase or to hold back and keep a little bit quiet about the tactics. And you can see they're quite shy, the KTM riders, of taking their turn at the front. And we can see there at the front, Barendon and Witzum both looking back to see what the faces of the KTM Alchemist Sprinter Bikes riders are looking like, and to try and second guess what they will do next. We can surely expect an attack from the ST.MORITZ. What do you think, Dario?
Yeah, probably they're in the back now for a few minutes now, but they're always looking back to the third team, the Klimatesa team. Yeah, the thing is, if you win this stage, you win the leader's jersey. So it's the first stage of this year's Swiss Epic, and yeah, that makes it even more special for these two leaders. Now they have to control each other, and they have to be in control over the third team. So yeah, only 5.4 kilometers to go, and yeah, it's a fantastic first stage.
It's a fantastic finale indeed, and we all know that the honor of pulling on those leaders' jerseys is a tremendous one, and the riders will be focusing very much on that. And not only that, there's a large amount of publicity for their teams that they'll be getting with their name in lights, with all eyes on the SPAR Swiss Epic to see who the very first winner of the very first stage is in the 2024 edition, the 11th edition of the race. And the riders will be well aware of this, still with a little bit fresh legs, you could say, and just a little bit of a push, just more of a tactical push from ST.MORITZ, keeping everyone in touch, or his teammate in touch with Barendon and Witsum. Witsum, a well-known track rider, and certainly will play to his favor when they come into the finale with only 5 kilometers to go. Fantastic. We can already hear at the finish line. We're sitting at the finish line right now, and we've seen spectators start. There's been a bit of a buzz in the last few minutes as the spectators come to the barriers to cheer the riders home. They will be hoping that their local heroes, Barendon and Witsum, will be crossing the line with their arms in the air. Team Engadin Le Punt coming into Le Punt. What an auspicious thing that would be for the Swiss riders.
That would be amazing, especially for Drie Barendon competing in the Swiss Epic since years, always between top 10, top 20, sometimes in the top 10. And now this year with his new teammate Simon Witsum fighting for the win in this first stage in Le Punt. The team is named Engadin Le Punt, wearing the Le Punt jersey, and yeah, we will see how it turns out here between the KTM guys and the Engadin Le Punt guys. There's still a lot of stuff to do on these last 4 kilometers, so the gap is still open to the third team. It's around 40 seconds at the moment, as you can see on the GPS tracking now. 3 teams together: Spescia, Walter, Schmid, Flückiger, Beaumartin and Martinez. So not only a special thing at the front, place 3, 4 and 5. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be exciting because we've got the front group 30 seconds ahead, and the sprint for the third spot on the podium, still an auspicious place to be on the first stage of the 2024 SPAR Swiss Epic. And it'll be fought out between the 2 Swiss teams, and Beaumartin and Martin's unfortunate accident put them out of touch with the leaders Barendon, Witsum and the ST.MORITZ. And we just saw earlier a little bit of a tactical shift there with Barendon, Witsum just taking a little bit of a back seat. But they are well aware of, it seems to be well aware of what's happening behind them. They don't want to leave anything. They want to leave everything out on the trail to make sure that the 3 teams don't catch them. They won't be aware of the exact time gap. They might have had some people out on the course telling them how close they would be, but they will be taking a bit of a gamble at the moment, doing all the work at the front. They seem to be the strongest team on the climb, so arguably they're on excellent form. But still, they are doing a large amount of the work really deep into the race, which no doubt will be draining their energy, and highly aware of that are the ST.MORITZ.
Yeah, and on the right-hand side, we're back with the women's race. Cannondale, Monica Calderon, Tessa Cortecas still in the lead with over 2 minutes. And we see Calderon, Cortecas comparing to Loser and Stridom. So on the downhill, Loser and Stridom lost around 4, yeah, hundredths of a second. That's not much. So they're pretty had the same speed on the downhill. So, and it's a long one. So that's quite interesting. So they lost the time in the uphills.
And that tells us that the team of Calderon and Cortacas are taking it conservatively on the downhills and just not leaving anything to chance. And with Vera Loza and Daniel Stratum just pushing a little bit hard. Vera Loza leading the way down the trail. It is, although she's Namibian, it is her backyard. She lives in Switzerland. And we're back with the men. 2.5 kilometers to go. This is really where the action happens. Teams still watching each other, but at the same time, simultaneously having to keep the pace high. Engadin Lapunt just allowing the Italians just a little bit of time to spend some time at the front. A good time to have a little bit of a rest. Well-known tacticians Witsum and Barrington.
So, Stefan, Sam, can you hear me? Stefan,
2 kilometers. And it was...
What's the
situation is that Team Lapunt attacked Fadri, is now trying to distance the KTM team. They are suffering. This is like an open fight now. So cool to watch the tactics play out. We have Simon in front about 200 meters. And now it's all up to Fadri to just be ahead of the second KTM rider. So clever tactics. And you should almost be able to hear or see us coming around.
Yes, the leading
the start loop.
Exactly, only a few meters away. The leading motorbikes are coming, so only a few minutes till the first rider will arrive here. And the attack of Simon Widstum. Just 2Ks to go. Nice tactic game from the two Swiss guys. And now KTM still together, and the tactical game is going on and on.
It's a brilliant move by the Engadin Lapunt team, putting a rider up the road. Now, by the rules of the race, they are obliged to stay within 2 minutes of each other. This is not in breach of that. They're still well within that limit. But the tactical move of being up ahead, leaving it up to the Italians to chase or not to chase. But the advantage is definitely swinging in the favor of Barrington and Witsum, because all the Engadin Lapunt need to do is outsprint the slowest rider from the Alchemist, the KTM Alchemist Brent Brakes team, one of the Samparisis. Just, it's all about tracking who the weaker of the two Samparisis are. And we see an attack from Engadin Lapunt. And can the Italians close that gap? They'll need to get in touch, and that gap is ominous. All the Italians have to do is shut that down and keep everything under control, and then they have a chance. But they're pulling into the finish. It's really close. They're almost here. We'll be hearing them coming through and crossing the line already. We can see the Engadin Lapunt, the first rider from Engadin Lapunt, and the team of Barrington and Witsum seem to have played it really well.
So it's a dramatic finale here. One more time for Dri Barandun on the second last corner. In second place at the moment. Simon Witsum just finished, just over the finish line, looking back to his teammates. What's the situation like? It looks like KTM team dropped.
Now we just saw the first going into great position, a fantastic position going into that last corner. Team of Engadin Lapunt had a great position, but it seems to have something's happened between the Samparisis as they crossed the line first. They have won the stage. The KTM Alchemist Brent Brakes, the Italians, have taken stage one.
It looks like that, so there's a discussion going on between the first riders, between the ST.MORITZ and the Engiadina teams. We go out right into the riders to talk about this situation, what happened. So
we're waiting to hear from the riders on the line. There seemed to be a bit of an altercation, some elbows out in the finale into the stage, some unhappiness from the team of Engedan Le Punt, with the ST.MORITZ taking the stage. And we'll hear exactly blow by blow, no doubt, what happened on the day. But second place, Engedan Le Punt very much in charge of the race today. They may not have taken the stage, but they've certainly shown their dominance. Barendon and Witsum have got their work cut out for them this week. The jerseys might not go to them, but they will be looking to tomorrow to take back those yellow jerseys. Tomorrow is the Queen stage, a big day out, and if they do have better legs, it will be a great show for us tomorrow. But today it all belongs to the ST.MORITZ, KTM, Alchemist, Brenta Brakes. We'll see what happens. If there are any protests, it looks like they're still in discussion. We'll hear on the line just when we speak to the riders. Dario's on his way down there now just to get a check on what's happening in that discussion right now. And coming home now, we have seen in the finish, Mondraker, Walter, MTB, they're the ones that took third spot. So Swissies, it's second and third, Specia and Walter, the Mondraker, Walter, MTB, Kaboom, Krapf team, 24 seconds back, with BIXX Performance, the team of Schmidt and Flukiger, coming in fourth. And unfortunately for them, the Spanish having lost touch with the leaders in that crash. Boom Martin and Martinez 30 seconds back, still very much in touch for the overall. And we'll be looking back at where the other teams come in. We have seen Klimatiza Totemi Cavity, the second team, 2 minutes back, so not completely out of touch when we look ahead at the week, the 4 days we still have left to race. 2 minutes is not a lot of time at all, but it seems to be a dominant performance by Engedan Le Punt. They look to be the strongest, and no doubt buoyed by their new yellow jerseys, the ST.MORITZ, KTM, Alchemist, Brenta Brakes.
2 teams, 4 riders, go on. Applaus, let's get loads. Jumping out the saddle, trying to take the inside line. The most number of UCI teams who have ever had the SPAR certificate.
I'm still waiting for the next teams to come through. We've seen the top 6 teams come in already. In fact, the top 8 teams have come in already. These are in the top 10. Racing for a top 10 spot are the teams BIX Performance, Roth and Rug, and Reuter and Volgemuth. Great performance from the Ischli Simplon KMC team. A great view of where we've been, where the riders have come through. This is the finale, the section of trail just before we reach the finish line. That's us there at the finish line in Le Punt. And this is the last grass section as the riders came through there. We saw in the last corner there was a bit of an altercation between Le Punt and the Engedan Le Punt team and KTM Alchemist Brenta Brakes. We saw a discussion, a healthy debate, a robust debate at the finish as to what exactly happened. We'll be waiting to hear on the line from Dario just to see if we have any insights on the line. But looking at those time checks, over 4 minutes, 5 minutes has elapsed, and still waiting for the next teams to come in. 8 teams in so far, and we expect to see a stream of teams coming in now after a long day out, a 75-kilometer day, with having breached the major obstacle of the day and riding some of the most famous trails in the world here in Switzerland, here in the Graubünden region, the home of trails.
75 kilometers later, 2,150 meters, stage 1. SPAR Swiss Epic, 3 teams.
An unfortunate day out for the Willier Vittoria team. We expected big things from Rabensteiner and Poro. having been fantastic campaigners in the Epic Series. We've seen them at the pinnacle of the Epic Series, the Absa Cape Epic, having won stages between them. And we did expect to see more from them. But we'll just get a time check to see how out of touch they are. 5 minutes and 39 seconds down. Ravensteiner and Poro coming in with Sel and Roos. All is not lost. 5 minutes if anything happens to any of the other teams, 5 minutes is an easy advantage to wipe out. But not the best start, not an ideal start for Ravensteiner and Poro, the Italian team. The well-practiced, well-rehearsed, and great team dynamic between them. The team of Willia Vittoria Factory team. We did see Simon Schneller come in with Axel Ridiel-Kortinat having dropped out. Bulls Mavericks team, Simon Schneller and Axel Kortinat returned. Axel did retire really early on the race. Simon Schneller will be allowed to continue just to enjoy the race experience, enjoy the trails of the region, and get a bit of training in before his next big goal of the season. But unfortunate for one of the top 3 favorites, Bulls Mavericks. Spare a thought for them coming into the race. We expected big things, and unfortunately within a few minutes we were aware of the fact that Ridiel-Kortinat had indeed pulled out. Now we just saw back of the women, 20.3 kilometers to go, as the dominant pairing of Tessa Kortekas and Monica Calderon. Tessa Kortekas has let Calderon lead on the climbs. You saw Calderon pushing a big gear on the climb, and they're driving their advantage home. Monica Calderon from Colombia and Tessa Kortekas from Holland lives in Lanzarote.
KTM
enjoying the training aspects from Lanzarote and standing her in good stead for the race. We did expect to see her getting better throughout the race. She's always been a rider that gets better as the race wears on, but this doesn't seem to be the case. She's absolutely on point from the get-go. Tessa Kortekas looks to be likely to pull on a leader's jersey. The orange Chivita leaders jerseys will likely go to Calderon and Kortekas. We're just going to get a time check just to see how far back the riders were from the leading team. Team Efficient Infinity, the defending champion Vera Loza, was 2 minutes and 46 back, riding with Danielle Stradum at the 54-kilometer mark. So around about at this point, we say about 1 or 2 kilometers away from that time check. So it's pretty accurate to say that 2 minutes 46 seconds back are the team of Vera Loza, Danielle Stradum. Efficient Infinity riding in second place.
We're here with the winners of today's stage. First win, leaders jersey, so couldn't be better.
Sì, è fantastico, abbiamo fatto una corsa molto intelligente, siamo rimasti 2 squadre, il ritmo era veramente alto, sapevamo che bisognava giocarsela in volata, è andata bene.
So that was a real hard fight with the other teams, especially at the end with the team from Engiadina, Lapunti. Turned out into a sprint, so that was a real close one.
Sì, l'altro team sapevano bene il tracciato, noi abbiamo seguito loro per tutta la durata della gara e alla fine ce la siamo giocata allo sprint. È stato uno sprint molto compatto, molto stretto e alla fine ce l'abbiamo fatta, abbiamo vinto.
Yeah, sprint is always a close thing, so everything is close together. Been 3 riders at the end. You're the older one. You've been the stronger one today?
Ma sì, oggi stavo veramente bene, sulla salita abbiamo cercato comunque di fare il nostro passo e poi sapevamo che dovevamo arrivare nella parte piana assieme a un'altra squadra per riuscire a tenere un buon margine, è andata bene.
Okay, so for tomorrow there's another stage coming from here, La Punt to the Foss. Did you recognize? So this is kind of the Queen stage. And one more time, a hard one, and even harder with the leaders jersey.
Sì, domani sarà una tappa importante. Noi cercheremo di fare di tutto per tenere la maglia da leader, cureremo un po' la corsa e vedremo di giocarci le nostre carte magari sulla salita più lunga.
Ok, grazie mille, congratulazioni per il vincitore oggigiorni San Parisi, grazie mille.
2 more turns left, and they'll be on the finish line. Dai, 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 forza Italia, forza Pietro, forza.
Some insights from the ground, hearing from the Italian pairing, the winners of the day, the Samparisis. Fantastic performance from the Italians, and exciting action between Barradun and Witsum. We'll be hearing from them in just a moment. In third spot, great performance again from the Swissies, the Specher and Walter pairing. It's Mondraker, Walter MTV from Switzerland. And in fourth spot, just missing out on the podium, Fluckiger and Schmidt.
So we're here with the local team, second place today. Yeah, bit disappointing for you, Fadri.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I was not expecting that we can make such a good race, but then in the end, if you lose it like this, yeah, it really hurts. Especially here at home, we could have taken the jersey. Yeah, it's a dream actually, but yeah, I think we have more chances the next days.
Yeah, we have 4 more days to go. Why did you not expect that you're that strong?
Yeah, I mean, it's always difficult to say. It's the first race for us together. Simon is actually not doing that much mountain bike races, so we did not really know what to expect. There were some really strong teams at the start line. Yeah, therefore we can be happy, but with the end, at the moment, yeah, it's quite frustrating.
Yeah, but Simon, you made a real nice move at the end. So you're the one who made a real big gap before the. Was that the tactic?
Yeah, we spoke about, but in the end, we say maybe it would be, or will be better to do it a different way. But yeah, in the end, it was a tactic, and yeah, it was not the best in the end.
How was it for you to come back into a mountain bike race? So you switched onto the track, road racing, time trialing, and now you're back on the mountain bike, back on the good side.
Back, but not for a long time, for 5 days now. But I was really nervous because I know Father is really strong, and yeah, I know my job is to hold the wheel. So, but it was okay.
Ist es nicht ein bisschen hart gewesen, um dem immer zu folgen? Ich habe das Gefühl, er hat schon auch gut gepusht.
Ja, hat schon auch gut gepusht, auf jeden Fall. Also, es wäre mir nicht so weit vorne gewesen. Ich habe mich besonders am langen Aufstieg echt gut gefühlt. Wir haben dann dort auch ein bisschen uns das so nutzen können machen, dass ich vorausgefahren bin und seine Flaschen geholt habe. So haben wir wieder ein paar Sekunden rausholen. Aber nein, alles in allem ist, ich glaube, sind wir sehr gutes Rennen gefahren und es gibt uns auch viel Selbstvertrauen für die nächsten Tage.
Ja, eben, wir haben jetzt morgen die Königsetappe von der Heilenbund auf der Foss, auf eurem Trikot Stadlerbund. Das würden wir auch in der Foss nehmen.
Absolut, wir würden es jeden Tag nehmen.
Am liebsten am Samstag.
Ja, genau.
Hey, danke vielmals. Team Le Pont, second place today, second place in the overall ranking. Grazie Fitz.
Remy Gross-Lambert and Basile Allard making up the Origine Photo Connection team.
Well, clearly disappointment written all over the locals' faces. Barradun and Witsum really regretting their choices or their tactics at the end, and all playing into the hands of the Samparisis and leaving another day to fight for those leaders' jerseys. And we'll be hearing from more riders on the ground in just a moment.
third place today, but you just told me it was a real hard one.
Yeah, we struggle a lot, but we have good legs and a good pace and catch some riders, yeah.
Struggling and still on third place. Come on.
Yeah, in the beginning my legs weren't very good, but in the end they're quite good, and I hope for tomorrow fresher legs.
Yeah, tomorrow, Queen Stage, as we told before. Hey, Mr. Special, you're quite in a good shape at the moment, not?
Yeah, I'm quite happy with my shape at the moment. Yeah, I had a lot of races, like small races, but it gives you some punch. And yeah, for sure, I felt it in the last 15 Ks. I had quite a good punch in the flat part. And yeah, I was really surprised that we saw the first group again and could catch up to third place again.
So that was quite a big surprise that you can hold on with the leaders, right?
Yeah, I felt good the first part, also the first climb to Albula. The climb to Corviglia, I felt good in the beginning. The last 2 Ks I struggled a lot. Simon could push me up the whole climb, like yeah, motivating me, and yeah, we hold on. We were around 4th and 5th down in the valley again, and from there on I felt more or less okay again. And in the flat part, in the end, I knew it was my part, and yeah, the feeling was good again.
Okay. So we switch to Swiss German. Tun ihr jetzt Taktik ändern, weil ihr jetzt vorne drinnen hocken?
Nein, ich glaube nicht. Wir haben Spass, geben uns das Beste und dann kommt der Morgen wieder gut.
Kann man auf so Strecken, wenn man voll gut geht, mit allen Spass haben?
Wir versuchen es zumindest.
So, they try to have fun on all these stages. Hussein, du kennst sicher einen Haufen von diesen Strecken da. Ist das ein grosser Vorteil?
Ganz ehrlich kenne ich nicht so viel. Also da heute im Engadin ist noch gegangen. Wir sind oft mit der Nazi in der Höhe da. Aber nachher wird es dann ein bisschen schlimmer um Davos herum. Ich glaube, auf Chur ist es wieder besser, da kenne ich es ein bisschen. Aber Davos, ja, kenne ich auch nicht so gut.
Okay, so they know the trails by heart up here, but it's going to be harder on the next day in Davos. Hey, big up to you guys. Thank you very much, and see you in the next days. Back here again.
And more insights from the ground, from the riders that have finished, and some surprise performances today. Certainly enjoyed seeing some new names at the top of the leaderboard at the 2024 edition. A new guard has entered the fray, and we look forward to seeing all of these riders in the next few years dominating the trails. And Monica Calderon, Tessica Corticas has certainly done that as the leaders in the women's category on the trails all day. They've looked in charge on the climbs, on the descents, and fantastic performance from the Colombian and the Dutch woman. Tessa Corticas, a resident in Lanzarote, Monica Calderon living at altitude. Corticas was a little bit reticent to push her chances or to promote her chances at overall line honors and even for the stage, saying she gets better throughout the week. And we've said it before and we'll say it again, she has absolutely shown that that is not the case. Or even if that is true, she will be enjoying herself, gaining even more advantage over the rivals. Looking back on time at Efficient Infinity, Vera Lorza and Daniel Strait, and the new pairing, and a newbie to the race, Daniel Strait and Vera Lorza, the defending champion. And in third spot, passing through that time check, almost 9 minutes down at the 54-kilometer mark. We're way beyond that now, several kilometers beyond the time check at 54 Ks. Mentacorpa, Chikli, Drigani, Fazolis and Barata, 8 minutes and 59 seconds back. Fazolis is a well-known campaigner at Epic Series races. She's in fact an Epic legend, having ridden the Absa Cape Epic and 2 of the other Epic Series races in Europe. So we'll expect to see more of her in the future. And also through that time check, 15 minutes back, is One Vision Concordia Bergen. That's Hoffler and Dalbenmann, the Germans. 15 Ks to go. Steady rhythm set by Kortikos. We saw Calderon on the front, setting the pace on the climbs, and good tactics between these two. Well aware of the dynamic between them. They've won the Andorra Epic together, so a proven partnership, and that's just another aspect of mountain bike stage racing, is the two-person team format, where riders have to finish within 2 minutes of each other, which gives rise to a new dynamic, and it's all important. If the riders are in close communication, communication is key, and Tessa Kortikos has intimated to us that Monica Calderon and her hardly speak throughout the race. They know exactly, just from each other's body language and from the smallest of gestures, they'll know just what to do, when to slow down, when to give some space, when to allow the other rider to go up ahead. And the team dynamic is proving itself, proving its worth today on the first stage of the SPAR Swiss Epic. So a close look at the graphic. This is more or less where we are on the trail, and we're looking back at Loza. The live tracking results are as accurate as we can see them, as we can get them right now, with the remote regions, the remote parts of the region in the Graubünden area, with Vazolis and Barata 10 minutes back according to our live tracking. Let's see just a visual of where they are out on the trails. 15 kilometers to go for Calderon and Kortikos, and Loza and Stradum looking to limit the damage and keep Vazolis and Barata at bay. Now the riders will have passed through the Lej da Staz section and into the Engiadina ski marathon section. It's seemingly flat with a couple of small spikes. It looks flat on the profile, of course, compared to the peak that the riders have already breached, which is the Corviglia at 2,500 meters. But now it's an even run into the finish with some single track, some beautiful single track, and then a short tar section before they hit the grass on their way into the finish chute here in La Punt. Just looking at the advantage that they've been setting or creating, they've gained 45 seconds in that section, but in that between Chamfery and the ST.MORITZ section at 54 kilometers. And they'll be looking with eagle eyes at the 64-kilometer mark to see how much more of an advantage. But they know they're on a good day. They're going to make hay while the sun shines. They know very well that anything can happen throughout the week. There can be a tire slash. It can be one of the riders could not have a good day, so they need to get as much advantage as they can. It's like saving for a rainy day, they say, in mountain bike stage racing. A good day means that you can gain time, so that when the inevitable incident happens, could be an accident, and that they have a bit of a buffer to rely on to keep those yellow, those orange jerseys, those coveted Chevita leaders jerseys. They'll be looking very likely to be pulling them on at the end of today's stage.
So you just talked about the Engadina Ski Marathon. This is the biggest cross-country skiing event in Switzerland. Up to 13,000 people are riding this one, always in March, through exactly this place where the women's are at the moment. So this is then the last part of the Engadine cross-country ski marathon. Always a real big happening up here in the Engadine during winter time. So cross-country skiing, very popular up here as well. We're moving to the Foss tomorrow, and there we have some other parts in cross-country skiing, like the Colonia Stutz, named after the Olympic cross-country champion Dario Colonia, and for sure he will be at the start line or at the finish line. He's living in the Foss, well known to come to every sport event in this area to have a look and to have a chat with other athletes. So very cool to see these two young guys on stage, Simon Walter and Ursin Special. Quite surprised after today's performance, but yeah, they rode a really intelligent race. Two Swiss teams on the podium. Second one, Simon Wittstum and Fadri Barandun, home race here. Fadri on the left-hand side, still a bit disappointed about this second place. And now we see the replay of the last attacks.
Congratulations, Lorenzo Sammarizzi, Nicolas Sammarizzi.
These are the winners, the Samparisi brothers.
Fantastic racing from these 6 riders. These 3 teams, lots of racing to come. And first of the line, KTM Alpinist Greater Brits. One of you do not go away because we're about to do the presentation for our overall category leaders jersey.
So there's going to be an interesting racing during the next few days, especially after this finish today between the Samparisis and the La Punt team. A bit of arguments at the end after the finish line. So yeah, the mood will be not that good tomorrow between the leading teams.
And we are ready. We present to you now the overall leaders of our 2024 SPAR Swiss Epic Grand Albula. Your team winners, Sprint 1, KTM Alpinist Greater Brits, Lorenzo Sammarizzi, Nicolas Sammarizzi in yellow. And we'll see them at the front of the start line.
Back with the women at the 12.3 kilometers to go. That's the mark that we see on the screen right now. We'll be seeing them coming into the finish within the next half an hour or so. And the team of Tessa Kortekas riding with Monica Calderon. Kortekas setting the pace, and we saw the team dynamic of where Calderon was setting the pace on the climbs, and Tessa Kortekas clearly comfortable with setting the pace on the front, leaving Monica Calderon to follow and enjoy the slipstream, the draft behind the strong Dutch woman. No doubt they'll be swapping over, but then very good communication, great team dynamic, and also the just not riding with the pressure of having to catch up with any team. They can ride their own pace. No doubt a very strong pace, just buoyed by the enthusiasm of what's waiting for them on the line. As long as everything goes well for them right now, as long as there are no incidents, no issues, as Tessa Kortekas just signals to the hikers sharing the trail at the moment, as she keeps the power on as they head into the finish. They've passed the 63.5 kilometer mark already, and we'll wait to see where Efficient Infinity and Sure are, and that is 2 minutes and 46 back at the previous time check. See what kind of an advantage over that the likes of the Calderon and Kortekas pairing. The Italians around about 9 minutes down. We'll have a long wait to see what the time check is on them. But Cannondale ISB Sport look very much in charge of the stage, as they have all day. And we are looking right now at some of the men's riders still coming through. And UCI men category, a little bit of a sprint to the end. We're seeing coming past the line as we watch the leading women head into the trails. Some of the the final trails of the day, and we'll get a graphic of just where they are on that section there. Just looking at the dots on the screen, the leading team that we're looking at right now have already passed through that 64 kilometer, still waiting for Loza and Stradum to come through. And the graphic is dictated by the live trackers, which are following the riders in the remote areas in the Graubünden region, the home of trails, as they head towards the finish. It was a loop stage today, southwesterly direction, as they headed back up the trails again, and a seemingly flat section past the (2,150 meters of climbing are under their belts right now. Perhaps just a few more meters to go in terms of climbing, in terms of ascent. At 75 kilometers, that ratio is it's a tall order with a high concentration of climbing, not in any small way due to the fact that they climbed up to Corviglia 2,500 meters. The Maguns climb certainly was largely responsible for that 2,150 meters of climbing. The ascent starting at around about 30 kilometers and some up and downs before they hit the main part of the Maguns climb. Well into the thick of it at 35 kilometers and hitting the top at around about 40 kilometers, just under 40 kilometers, 2,500 meters. But they were rewarded by the WM Flow Trail and the Foppettas Flow Trail before they hit the Lej da Staz section. And very soon we'll be seeing the characteristic trails of the Engadin ski marathon section. Loza and Stradum in pursuit of Calderon Cortacas, who do look very much in charge of the race. Fazola's Barato some way back, followed by the Germans and Baumann and Stedelmann even further back, almost half an hour behind the leading team of Calderon and Cortacas.
So do you know why WM?
Please explain.
It's a World Championship skiing downhill slope. So WM Weltmeisterschaft in German, in Swiss German. So it used to be here in ST.MORITZ probably 5-6 years ago. I don't know exactly. And this is part of the downhill slope. So very famous up here. World Cup skiing every year up here. Especially the women's races are up here in St.MORITZ on this slope during wintertime. In summertime, we're using these slopes as a flow trail.
That's the playground of the Alps, where in the winter it's about skiing and in the summer it's about mountain biking.
Exactly, yeah. So if we're talking about skiing, this guy coming around the corner, he's a Shimo world champion. Exactly, together with his teammate under 23 European champion. It's Arno Lieta and Patrick Berretten riding in the amateurs class. So especially Arno, the Shimo world champion, competing in mountain bike races during the summertime and doing some UTMB running. It's his teammate Patrick Berretten, and they keep it in shape during summertime with other competitions and winning Shimo races during the winter.
Well, if this was cross-training, this is a pretty good performance for if they're not necessarily specialists in mountain bike stage racing, and if it's their off-season, again, a very impressive result for them. And we're with the second place riders on the course right now. Daniel Stradum in front of us, and a little bit ahead, Vera Loza in the Namibian Championships jersey, as they start to put the finishing touches onto their campaign. They did lose around about a minute or so on that section between St.MORITZ and Samadan, and 45 seconds in the previous section, but still very much in charge of the, you could say in charge of the podium, but they'll need to limit the damage to Calderon and Cortacas, hoping for a better day tomorrow. And Vera Loza doing a superb job of looking after her newbie partner Daniel Stradum, a rising star on the scene, and we'll expect to see a lot more from Stradum in the years to come. And this is really, it'll be a race of reckoning, a race of awakening for her, and taking the experience that'll be valuable in her campaign going forward for the next, let's say 5-10 years or so. we see a great career ahead of the South African women.
It's always hard. The first race together with a new teammate. You have to feel each other, you have to find the rhythm, the conversation, the plan, and everything, yeah. That makes it even harder if you're in a new team than knowing each other very well.
And it's great to have the accomplished Vera Loza, the experienced Vera Loza, to guide her through this section, and the lessons will be highly valuable in her career going forward. So 8.8 kilometers to go. That's for the front runners. That's Calderon and Kortekas. A little bit more for Loza and Stradum. And we're going to hear from Stefan Sam is going to tell us a little bit about what he's seen out on the trails in the thick of the racing.
So one more time, we're going out to Stefan Sam in this downhill. I know he can ride downhill and talk.
Yes, absolutely. Downhill is already finished. We're crossing some mud puddles onto the single track stretch along the river. And I'm following Vera Loza and Danielle, which are second team in the UCI women's field, and they're keeping up a good rhythm. And Vera is piloting her partner very well through the tracks and all the stuff.
So tell me, Stefan, how hard is it to race with a new teammate? So that makes it even more special, not?
Absolutely, but it's also a good motivation. Sometimes change of rhythm is something really cool. Some things are unexpected, and you need to be flexible and try to improvise every now and then, and that can also give you lots of motivation. But I'm sure they have raced countless races together or against each other, so maybe not. Maybe they know each other quite well already.
How have you done it? So you raced the Cape Epic, you won the Cape Epic 3 times, and not even with the same partner. Did you train before?
No, I always won together with Carl.
Are you only together with Carl all the time?
Yes, all the time. All the 3 victories were with Carl. But it's a different story. Okay. I mean, we are like brothers. So,
yeah, that's right. More twins.
Yes. Yeah. But
he's out on the course as well.
Yes, he's out on the course, riding with Kalle Friberg, Swedish racer, really cool guy, and they are heading for the Masters jersey. I hope so. If not, they must train more.
But that's okay for you if he races with somebody else.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no hard feelings.
Good. Okay, good.
I'm not jealous. I'm not a jealous guy.
Okay. No jealousy between these two guys. Perfect. No. So these trails at the moment, always a change between some rough parts you've seen now and these easier parts. But yeah, it's the end of a first stage, only 7 Ks to go. And these changes in the rhythm, that makes it even harder.
Absolutely, because they have done like a couple of major obstacles and their legs are tired and the focus might not be there anymore, really. And then when you have to go like to a bed with big pebbles and stuff, it can throw you out quickly. So you have to stay focused, even on like flat gravel roads like this, because everything is slippery at the speed that the women go. So it's focus all the time.
Okay, thank you very much, Stefan Sam. Keep focusing on riding alone, not together with Carl.
Yeah, I actually enjoy my part a lot.
Well, Stefan will be pleased to know that his former partner and his winningest partner at the Absa Cape Epic 3-time winner with Carl Platt. Carl Platt has already crossed the finish line in first place with Carla Fribourg and having won the Masters category for stage 1, pulling on those Civita Leaders jerseys in just a few minutes. And they had over a half-hour advantage over their nearest rivals at the final time check. Still waiting for those nearest rivals to come in with such an advantage. There's still a few minutes to go before we see them. But Carl Platt, well and truly in charge of the Masters category at this year's edition.
We're back with Thomas and the leading women. So they have everything under control, Thomas?
Yeah, it's full gas now till the finish, I think. Now they are controlling the race really well. The feeling is good for these two girls. And yeah, they talk to each other, controlling the race, not making some mistake in downhill. Now, really nice race.
What do you think? Are they informed about the gap to second place, or they have no clue?
I think they have no clue. They know that it's a gap, perhaps 1 minute, 2 minutes, but they have no clue that it's more than 2 minutes. I tell anything.
Good that you're behind the leaders. So, but probably that makes it even harder to calculate your own rhythm. So, yeah, already going full gas just to get about 20 or 30 seconds more, or not?
Yeah, now they are going full gas, pushing till the finish. It's not so hard anymore, no climb anymore. And it's now that they can make a better advantage.
Okay, and it's the flat part now, but it's, yeah, it looks it's always the same in the lead over, yeah, the last few kilometers.
Well, they change. Tessa is sometimes in front, Monica is in front. Yes, it's a good teamwork. And that's better because on the price it's better to change position.
Do you talk about that after a stage? So if one rider is stronger than the other, so to split the whole race tactic a bit different, so that one is leading in this part, you are leading in this part?
No, I think it depends of the race, depends of the feeling of each rider. And I think today Monica and Tessa are on the same level. It's why they can change the position. But if it's one rider is stronger than the other one, I think it's to the stronger one to go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, and it's dangerous. If you're winning a stage 1 with a 2-minute margin, so to go into the second stage, not too confident, no? Some traffic on the last kilometers, only 4.4 kilometers to go at the UCI women's field.
Another glimpse at the graphic. We've got on the extreme left-hand side, Calderon and Cortacas. Very close to home, under just a little bit, around about 4 kilometers to go. And Loza and Stradum are in pursuit. Fazolis, Barato, some way down the trail. Around about 11 minutes or so at the last time check we saw, and 4 minutes at the 69-kilometer mark, 4 minutes back from Calderon and Cortacas, Vera Loza and Danielle Stradum. 4 minutes 16 to be exact. At that time check, it will vary depending on the terrain, but we are watching the Cannondale ISB Sport women dominating affairs as they head into the last section of the trails before we see them cross the line in La Punt. Just the other riders you'll see there. There are some of the men's category, the amateur men, who will be catching a bit of a ride on the back of the women's leaders. The rules of the race and, of course, the spirit of the race dictates that there'll be no interference in the women's category. They will receive no assistance from the men. Calderon and Cortacas will be on their own. They will not receive any help whatsoever from the men. But that could possibly give them an advantage over Loza and Stradum, keeping it all fair in mountain biking. I've noticed that Calderon has spent a lot of time behind Tessa Cortacas. This seems to be the dynamic we've spoken about, and each rider playing to their strengths and also allowing the rider that knows the trail the best going through the trail. This section of the trail is not challenging at all. It's a all-out power section, smooth gravel roads as they drive home their advantage. If they have any advantage in terms of firepower, they will use it right here. They have shown that they've taken the trails, the downhill sections, more conservatively, but that's more of a tactical thing, you could say, not necessarily reflective of their ability on the trails. They're experienced campaigners, both of them, Calderon and Cortacas, in mountain bike stage racing, seeing trails new, seeing them fresh without having seen them before, not having practiced them before. They know exactly what to do. And knowing exactly what to do means that they put as much pressure as they can in terms of firepower where it really counts, on the climbs. And that puts the pairing of Vera Loza and Daniel Stradum on the back foot. And when we say on the back foot, they're still very much in contention for a podium finish today. It looks unlikely that, unless barring incident, let's not speak too soon, let's not jinx it, but they look highly likely for a second place today because they have been keeping their efforts consistent out on the trails. And Vera Loza showing Daniel Stradum what it's all about, racing a mountain bike stage race on a global level, at the highest level of the sport, at the SPAR Swiss Epic. SPAR Swiss Epic being part of the Epic Series, and the pinnacle of the Epic Series is the ABSA Cape Epic. Daniel Stradum finished 11th, perhaps a little bit disappointed with her performance, but she is certainly making good for it right now as they head through towards the finish with under 2.5 kilometers to go for the leaders.
Just been talking about trail knowledge, so we have about 75% newbies in the SPAR Swiss Epic, and most of them are not from Switzerland. So yeah, they've seen this trail for the first time. They can figure out a bit, but yeah, it's really hard. It's like blind racing for most of them. For the elite UCI women and UCI men, no time to enjoy the beautiful landscape. And yeah, for all the others, probably a little bit of a longer water stop to enjoy the view, to make a picture, to post it on Instagram or where else. Yeah.
Well, if you're riding in Switzerland, that's one thing that you really want to do if you're from another country, is to record this moment, because it's a very special privilege to be able to ride these trails. And that's what it's all about. It's about exploring the best of the trails, the iconic trails of the region. And so we've got 41 countries represented in total at the race, and 70% of them are international. Only 29% are Swiss. So it's great to see countries from around the world. From the United States, the second most represented nation, along with South Africa, Germany, Belgium, Spain, the Netherlands, the nearby countries. And notably, Brazil have 20 riders in the race. And riders even from as far afield as Namibia. We've got 6 riders from Namibia, and including Vera Loza. And we also see Croatians, Norwegians, and countries that many are not aware of. Svalbard and Jan Mayen, one person from that country. So fantastic to see such a wide range of countries represented at this truly international race. We spoke about the Epic Series, a major part of the Epic Series, and about riding the world and racing the world is about collecting or earning your Epic Legend Medal. And the Epic Legend Medal is a very special celebration of a certain type of very special kind of athlete. There's an athlete that has ridden the ABSA Cape Epic and 2 others of the Epic Series races, the 4 Islands, the Andorra Epic, and of course the Swiss Epic, making those up. And In the past, there was a race in New Zealand called the Pioneer. It is no longer in existence, but one credit will still be given to riders that have completed that event, all to earn that Epic Series medal. It's a chunky piece of metal, and certainly well earned, having raced the world, around the world in iconic destinations. The essence of mountain biking is what the Epic Series is all about, and all about a premium full-service race that allows riders to focus on nothing else except the experience, about cycling and recovering, sleeping and repeating.
Exactly, we're on the last kilometer at the UCI women's leading group. So you can see from the back of Thomas Diertz's bike the view onto La Punt, onto the finish line. They can hear the noise out of the village. Only a few meters to go for them.
And we saw the faces of Tessa Kortekos and Monica Calderon as they round that final bend, as they head into the finish. It's a tight bend. We saw the men's category struggling with that tight corner, and now they crack a smile. They've allowed themselves the celebrations as they cross the line. A fantastic win for the Colombian and the Dutch woman, and fantastic to see them at the very top end of the sport, on the top step of the podium. They won the Andorra Epic. They've carried that momentum all the way through to August to take line honors at the SPAR Swiss Epic. And tomorrow is another day, of course. Anything can happen, but they will enjoy the festivities of the day, knowing that they will be pulling on those orange Chivita leaders jerseys to celebrate their achievement today and enjoy the honor of wearing one of the most coveted jerseys in the sport.
So the whole team is happy, for sure. They're happy with today's performance, the team manager and the whole crew of the Cannondale team.
We saw in the very early years of mountain bike stage racing, teams like the Bulls really professionalized the sport. This was decades ago, of course, and characterized by the victories of Carl Platt, the 5-time winner, and the 3-time winner, Stefan Sam, arriving at the race with a full professional setup. And we see the Cannondale ISB Sport women's team also arriving at the start of the SPAR Swiss Epic with the men's team as well, and a very professional outfit. And Tessa Kortekos has told us that she really enjoys the vibe of the team, and clearly morale counts for a lot, because they have shown themselves worthy of the winners of the first, the inaugural stage of the 11th edition of the SPAR Swiss Epic. We're here with Daniel Stradom and Vera Lorza, second out on the trails today, 4 minutes 16 seconds down at the 69-kilometer mark. Efficient Infinity are on a good day. Tomorrow's another day for them. They'll be looking to tomorrow's stage, that is the Queen stage, a particularly difficult stage with a challenging climb. And we're looking to limit the damage to the likes of Cannondale ISB Sport. But they'll also be just keeping just a bit of a watch on the Italian team behind them, Fazzolis and Barata. Not too much of a challenge today, 12 minutes down at the last time check. So it's all about just managing their efforts and keeping themselves in the game. Vera Lorza is, in fact, a multiple finisher of the Swiss Epic, earning herself that Finishers Club badge. And we expect to see her at other Epic Series races soon, so she can earn that Epic Legend medal. She's certainly worthy of it, having been a campaigner at the Absa Cape Epic, at the Swiss Epic. This is more or less her home race, and she herself lives in Switzerland, knowing these trails very well. And Danielle Stradom, a newbie, not to the sport, but to the SPAR Swiss Epic. We'll be looking to see how she progresses throughout the years. Going down the list at the time check, Costanza Fazzolis is, in fact, an Epic Legend, and one of 37 Epic Legends racing at the SPAR Swiss Epic. These are riders that have finished 3 of the Epic Legend, the Epic races, the Epic Series races, including the Absa Cape Epic. The SPAR Swiss Epic this year there are 19 potential epic legends. So there are 19 riders that if they finish this race, if they finish the SPAR Swiss Epic in 2024, they will be wearing that heavy piece of metal around their necks. We have Daria down on the finish line with the winners, but we're just tracking the second place riders on the day. Efficient Infinity, Vera Loza and Daniel Stratum as they head towards us in La Punt. They are close to the finish. We're just seeing them over the last little rise as they head to the finish chute. It'll be a straight run in towards the finish line and then a right turn just off the trail that you see right now, and then a very tight, almost a 180-degree turn as they head into the final few meters and enjoy a celebration, having earned themselves a podium finish on the first stage of the SPAR Swiss Epic. They've taken the right turn now, the left 180-degree, and they head into the finish. Vera Loza, proud of her, you could say her protege, because she's been teaching her the ropes at the SPAR Swiss Epic, a race she knows so well. Daniel Stratum, a creditable performance for her in second place today. Big congratulations to Stratum. They've lost around about 5 minutes, just under 5 minutes to Calderon and Kortikos, who look very much in charge of this race. Anything can happen. And team of Efficient Infinity have kept themselves in the game and likely to have a great week ahead of them. Potentially another stage win, or stage win for them, another stage win for Vera Loza. She's well accustomed to standing on the top step of the podium and just enjoying the recovery shakes they've been given at the finish. And it's all about, it's not just about racing your heart out every single day, it's about being able to recover and recovering optimally for the next day. And we see coming into the finish the Italians of Fazzolis and Barato. They're currently third on the trail, had quite an advantage over their next place riders, over 6 minutes advantage over the Germans Hoffler and Daubermann. So they won't be looking back, they'll be looking forward to limit the damage to Efficient Infinity, Cannondale ISB Sport women. So a podium spot looks well within their grasp today. Coming into this race, we did cite two main teams as the race favorites before the start, and that was certainly, we were right about Cannondale ISB Sport and Efficient Infinity. There was still, we were unsure about who that third team would be, but were encouraged by the fact that we saw Mentorcorpo Chicli Drigani women, as they were very much in touch with the leaders on the first climb, and looking at just how they were doing, how they were tracking the movements of Cannondale ISB and Efficient Infinity on the Via Engiadina and on the Albula Trail. But they were unseated on the Marguns climb up to the highest point in the race. That's the WM Flow Trail, the Weltmeister Flow Trail, training ground of mountain bikers in Switzerland and in fact all over the world. And then the Foppettas Flow Trail, enjoying it. But they are, we could expect them in a few minutes at the finish. Fazzolis and Barato, another great day out. And epic legend Fazzolis chalking up another great result for her at an epic series race.
In the next category, ST.MORITZ.
Now, riders all over the world have come to enjoy the trails of ST.MORITZ and the mystical lakes and the famous Albula Trail. Anyone can come and ride these trails, and today was 75 kilometers of pure thrill, 2,150 meters of descent and ascent, because of course we finished and started and finished at the same place, and the thrills of that 2,150 meters of descent were enjoyed, just like we've said, on those trails that we mentioned, the WM Flow Trail, Foppettas, Albula Trail, and just a little bit of great single track as they headed through Engiadina, the ski marathon section. And we're going to be hearing from Dario down on the line. He's already been speaking to the riders who've crossed the line, and the winners of the stage, the team of Cannondale Ice. The trails of the day.
Yeah, it's like start of the race, starting an interview. But it's a good interview today, no?
Really good. Yeah, I didn't expect feeling that good the first day, as I used to need like 2 days to get in my rhythm, especially being here on altitude. But yeah, surprisingly good.
Yeah, you did the European Championship on Sunday, 1 day off, traveling day. Yeah. Now back up here, high altitude. We're on 1,600 meters. That makes it even more hard.
Yeah, it does. I noticed it on my heart rate, but on legs I felt strong. Yeah, strong enough to push on the climbs and enjoying the downhills.
Yeah, and my heart rate always goes up if I see the landscape.
Yeah, well, I didn't see much of the landscape.
No time to...
No time to disconnect. Well, when we were on the top, I saw the view on the lake, and it was incredible. But there's not much time to enjoy. Like, we enjoy it our way.
But you hadn't got any information about the gap, so the gap was quite big, 2 minutes in between.
No, on one longer climb, we could see quite far more down, and there I thought we have at least 2 minutes. But from there we had no clue if the big was getting bigger or smaller. But we just went at our pace and feeling strong, and I had a lot of power to push on the flat, which is my better part. So yeah, I don't know actually how big the gap was at the end, but I think we can be comfortable tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow Queen Stage, another long climb, something for you?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
And the view is beautiful up there.
Well, I tried to have a look.
Thank you very much.
Great to hear from the winners. Tessa Kortekas in good spirits. Still cautiously optimistic about the week ahead, but just showing the level of focus required to be in charge of a race like this, not looking at the scenery at all. We suspect that she'll perhaps have a look around throughout the week as the week goes on if they do gain a bit more of an advantage, but today there was one job to do, and that was to win the stage and to pull on the Chivita orange leaders jerseys. And the job was certainly done to great effect by Tessa Kortekas and Monica Calderon. And we could see that coming through the interview there was her referring to that team dynamic that she has got really absolutely down to an art with Calderon. They both speak Spanish. They're riding for a Spanish team, or a Spanish-based team. And Calderon and Tessa Kortekas don't even need to speak. First stage at the SPAR Swiss Epic. As we expect to see the riders coming home, the team of Mentorcorpo, Cicli Drigani, the Italians, Fazzolis and Barato coming into the finish. They were around about 12 minutes back at the time check. And about 13 minutes have elapsed now, and they'll be crossing the line in just a few moments, and we'll be able to hear from them on the line. Another great performance from the Italians, and Mentorcorpo, Cicli Drigani, a spot on the podium for them. We'll be hearing from the riders down on the line in just a few moments as we enjoy the views of the village in La Punt.
So after racing meal is a bit different in Switzerland. We ate cheese.
Sorry, say again?
We ate cheese. We ate cheese after a race.
Yes, no, I think that technique I'm going to take with me home because, yeah, that's a really cool thing from Switzerland. I love it.
Do you know that, Vera?
I know that, but I think we need to take the Swiss cheese to South Africa and then we can have cheese on biltong.
Yes, okay. Yes, that's a good combination.
That would be the right decision. So you just told me before that you enjoying the countryside during the whole race.
Yes, well, we are in such a beautiful country. I mean, you have to kind of take a moment to take it all in as well. It's not every day you get to experience these trails and these views. So no, it's important to also stop and smell the roses every now and then.
Some new trails in every edition of the Swiss Epic.
Yes, there's some new trails every time, but I think this area I know pretty well also from being here in a training camp. So I could always guide Danielle more or less to what's coming. But yeah, it's still, if you come here for her, especially doing the flow trails, and they're beautiful, but you still have to concentrate and really watch out where you're going.
Yeah, and tomorrow another one, the Queen Stage, a real long uphill with a beautiful landscape. So yeah, Vera, do you know the stage from tomorrow?
Yeah, the Scalette Pass is a little... so yeah, we all climb basically the whole day, and especially at the top on the single trail. I mean, it's pretty, and then if you get to the top and you hear the Alp horns, I hope they will be there again. It's just another feeling. It's amazing.
Okay, good. Do you look forward for that one as well, even if it's a uphill?
No, I do. I know it's going to be tough and hard, but I've got Vera guiding me, and yeah, she's. I think she knows this race in and out, so I just stick to what she does, and I know I'll be fine.
She's your personal mountain bike guide, or what?
I think so. No, I'll recruit her.
Racing guide.
Racing guide, tour guide, friend. She just makes everything better.
Yeah, you did really good. Second place today, so that makes it easier for the upcoming few days, or does it make it even harder? Because there's a little bit missing.
Yeah, I think we're definitely not here to slack off. We'll definitely try our best every day, and I think coming away with a second place today is already really, really good. But yeah, we'll definitely fight for everything we have.
Yeah, and 4 days to come, 4 days in this beautiful countryside. Thank you very much. Have a good one tomorrow. Enjoy the countryside, but not too much.
Thank you. Afterwards, we'll have some more cheese.
Okay, I wait with cheese. I wait with a fondue at the finish line. in Davos at the last day. Thank you. Danke vielmals.
And the results of today, it's all written down in the descriptive prose of the result sheet. It's Monica Calderon and Tessa Kortekas of the Cannondale ISB Sport women's team taking line honours, and the Ciavita leaders orange jerseys from Vera Lorza and Daniel Stradom from Efficient Infinity, just under 5 minutes back. And the Italians, Fazzolis, but just a few minutes back off that. And very soon we'll be seeing tomorrow's stage. And before we do that, let's just have a quick analysis of how the day went in terms of the time checks. It looked like Calderon and Kortekas were very much in charge all day until they hit the Corviglia pass. They looked absolutely dominant and not losing too much time on the descent towards ST.MORITZ. They absolutely dominated the day. Lorza and Stradom kept a steady pace, and Barato and Fazzolis 13 minutes and 20 seconds down, losing time at each time check, but still keeping their efforts measured for a good day out, a good podium for all three. Stage 2, it's 76 kilometers, 2,400 meters of climbing, and it's pure adrenaline, reaching the event's highest point at the Scalette Pass, 2,600 meters from the wild Sauzana Valley to the breathtaking Val Trupkun Experience thrilling descents, epic climbs, and don't miss the 20-kilometer downhill rush to Durborden, surrounded by stunning alpine vistas. As always at the SPAR Swiss Epic, join us tomorrow for the ultimate mountain bike adventure.
Many to choose from. The Alps, the Dolomites, the Pyrenees, just to name 3 epic mountain ranges.
And stage 1 comes to a close, and we've witnessed a dramatic race here, a showcase of skill, endurance, some tactics, and of course fabulous trails and the sheer beauty of Swiss alpine scenery. We are concluded the stage 1 of the 11th edition of the SPAR Swiss Epic, and it has not disappointed. This is only the beginning. Tomorrow holds new challenges, more great stories, and stay tuned as we continue our journey through Graubünden, the home of trails, and as we conquer the Alps. We'll all see you tomorrow.